Now, I at least have a purpose for my savings, which has changed my mind and my life. I would really like to encourage you out there who's watching this, please do take this program. It will change your life. Despite the fact that I did learn about finances, I networked, I met other people. It's a program that will change your life. Hello, my name is Njoki Wairua.
So look at what is it that you enjoy doing. That anyway, it comes effortless. Like makeup, like you like to take your time in front of the mirror. Like, hey, this is nice. Oh, contouring, hapa na pale, whatnot. And before long, maybe you start doing it for your friends and they love it. And then like, wow, you're so good at this. Hey, you know, una enjoy sana hata kwenda kwa YouTube kuangalia how people do it. That's how you tap into the talent that you have, the natural skill that you've been given. So even if you have talent, still you have to work hard to be good at it. You have to research on it, kama vile nimesema, kuangalia YouTube, kuuliza maswali, kufuata, you know, those other celebrity stylists or makeup artists, for instance, on Instagram. Look what they do, you know, ask them questions, seek help so that you can better yourself. Because when willing to work hard at a skill, some people become good at something even without much talent. Sometimes unaanza na unaona, I'm good at this, but I really enjoy it. I want to do more. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my time, like just like what Andrew was telling us. It took years just to learn tailoring. Na kwa tina talanta ya kushona. Atiseti alikuwa ameanza kusema mimi nitakuwa hivi. Just that interest, and then like, okay, you know what? I'm going to put in my time into this, and it will bear fruit, and indeed it did. So, I'm sure we've all heard this. It's one thing to have talent. You see this little circle there? It's none. That's 10%. The rest, 90%, is what?
Hard work.
It's hard work.
You have your goal. Do you have a strategy for your business? Now let's go to strategy. One, you have to develop your own strategy. Don't do it because I'm doing it. Don't start an M-Pesa shop because Ken has one and I see a stream of customers. I might be selling dope inside there. That's why there are a lot of people. Right? You don't know. Yes, you don't know what I'm doing there, but you see a lot of people. One shop has a lot of people, the other one has nothing, right? So don't do it because I'm doing it. So have your own strategy ahead of starting your business. Because if you don't have a strategy, if I give you 10 million shillings today, what are you going to do with it? It's easy to get money, but what are you going to do with the money? So have a strategy. Think ahead. Now this is street. Think ahead. This is what I want to do with this money, and this is what I will do with it when I get it. Because if you get it before formulating your strategy, you're likely to lose. So once you formulate your strategy, then go for the money. Know how you're going to pay for it. If you don't know how you're going to pay for it, don't take it. Because you will pay for it. You will pay for it. Yeah. So don't just take it. So once you have the strategy, go for the money, invest, and don't do the business because this guy is succeeding. You don't know his secret. And then be ready to lose. Losing is the only way you're going to learn to make. You know what? When you start losing and you learn you're losing, you plug it. You stop losing.
So your budget will help you balance these out. And it's also very important to prioritize what needs to be stored away in order to grow. Guys, there's no such thing as financial freedom. You get independence, yes. You can make decisions when you have financial security. You actually gain an internal power when you achieve financial independence.
Hello, hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to the Centonomy Campus Edition Cross Campus Hangout. My name is Michael, and I'm going to be your moderator for today's session. All right, now, I'd like a quick confirmation from you guys that you can hear me, that you can see me, wherever you're joining us from. And how you can do that is just quickly just go into the chat and then say that you can hear me, you can see me. If you can hear me, if you can see me, just quickly let me know in the chat box. Great, I see Christine. Thank you, Christine. Christine can see and hear me. Thank you so much. Great. Great. I see the responses are coming from Regina, from John, from Joseph, from Godfrey. Karibuni, karibuni. Welcome each and every one of you to this highly awaited session. It's my pleasure to be your moderator for today's session. And today we have a fantastic event lined up for you. And we're not going to take a lot of time. But just as we begin, I'd like you to also go in the chat box as you tell me that you can hear me. Kindly tell me where you're tuning in from, whether you're in Nairobi, you're in Kisumu, Dala, whether you're in Mombasa, whether you're in Kampala, wherever you are. Kindly let us know so that we can know who we are talking to today. Great, I see Regina is there in Nairobi. Great. Great. I knew there was someone who was from Dala. I see Christine from Machakos, Ivy Nairobi. Great. Hey, John Kamau is like Nakuru City. Yes, Nakuru is now a city. Fantastic, fantastic. I see Brandon, I see Nema from Kiambu. I knew there was also someone from Uganda. Erasmus Bwire from Mbale, Uganda. Great, I see Lynn from Nairobi, Anthony from Nairobi. Fantastic, fantastic. Shali from Kilifi. We have someone else, Peter from Nyandarua County. That's fantastic. Michelle from Mombasa. Michelle, Mombasa kukoaje? How's the weather there? Is it sunny? LC from the diaspora in Rungai, karibuni sana. Someone else from Kampala, Claire Ayero, karibuni sana. Joseph from American, I believe that should be Meru. Welcome, welcome everyone. Glad and excited to be here. Now, after you've told me where you're from, kindly indicate or let me know which campus or which university or which college you're representing today, so that you can see, where we are from or where we go to school. And guys, why we are doing this is just so that we can start interacting, and so that we can also know who's in the room. Maybe you guys can get a connection here, right? You never know, right? I see Peter from Kenyatta University. I see, great, I see Brandon from JKUAT, Juja campus. I see someone, Marvin's from Copa, Cooperative University. Jerry from Strathmore. Wow, someone else from Strathmore. This is Simon. We have Shirley from Pwani University. We have someone from Technical University of Mombasa. That's Michael. Karibu sana, Michael. Someone else from KU, that's Elsie. Godfrey from Egerton University. Karibu sana, Godfrey. I see Joseph from TUK, Technical University of Kenya. Karibu sana. Great. Someone else from Strathmore, that's Sharil. Sharil is actually an alumni of Strathmore. Welcome. We have Lynn from Multimedia. And then we have Maureen from the great University of Nairobi. Hannah also representing University of Nairobi. And then Kimani Kamau representing my alma mater, that is USIU. Welcome, Kimani. You have Anthony Omondi from TUK. John from Egerton, Njoro campus. And then we have Erasmus, who's from Uganda. He's saying Islamic University in Uganda. Welcome, welcome all. Mercy also from my alma mater, USIU. Great, great. And then we have Ivy from Robert Gordon University in the UK. Wow. Welcome, welcome, Ivy. Bridget from UON. Michelle from Masine Muliro. Great. Joseph also from Cooperative University. Cartel from Strathmore. Welcome. And then we have Mumbe from University of Nairobi. And then we have Henry from Kabete Polytechnic. Welcome, welcome. Wow. Also, Daystar is represented, Neema, Kenya Utalii College. Great. Then we have Gerono from Moi University. Great. Welcome to this fantastic event. brought to you courtesy of Centonomy Campus Edition, right? Now, we're going to go straight into it. As you can see, my name is Michael Thotho. I'm the program manager here at Centonomy, and I'm going to be the facilitator and moderator for today's session. And then straight away, we're going to get into it, and we're going to start with our first speaker. Kemboi, just confirm you're with us.
Yes.
Great. Our first speaker is going to be none other than Kemboi Maiyo, who's the country business director of Bosch Power Tools. Now, Kemboi is a highly successful professional with nine plus years of international experience, specialized in scaling business in consumer and retail, and then developing go-to-market strategies, business development, and data-driven decision-making. Right. Now, Kemboi has also accumulated leadership experience with various corporate entities and non-profit organizations, and he served in various roles within Africa and Europe. Right. Kemboi also has an MBA from Gotten Institute of Business Science, University of Pretoria, and currently leading the Kenya Power Tools division at Bosch. Kemboi. Great. I see, Kemboi. Karibu sana to this great event. We have been waiting, highly anticipating, and finally the day is here. Kemboi, I'd like to give you the chance, the opportunity, and the podium.
Thank you so much. Wow, what an introduction. I feel honored. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it. And actually I want to also thank Centonomy, the Campus Edition, for such an excellent program that you're running, especially in empowering young people and trying to make sure that we get ready for the business world, we prepare ourselves also for the future. I think this is really an exciting opportunity to also participate with you as well. So for me, thank you for that introduction. I am really humbled. I lack words to to say anything, but for me today, it is really about, let's have a discussion together. Let's discuss about, how do we identify opportunities in our career? That's what we will try and highlight today for the next maybe 20 minutes. I hope you have your notebook. I hope you have a notebook and pen. Grab your coffee on the side. And I'd like this to be very interactive, Michael, if you allow. I'd like people can ask questions. If you have questions, maybe jot it down. Let's interact together. I not want it to be just a one-way discussion, but rather if we both can learn from one another, I think that would be really good. So for the next 20 minutes, let's try and see how we can identify opportunities in our careers. Just maybe, what are your key takeaways? Your key takeaways today will be, I'll try and pose a few questions. And with these questions, we'll deliberate together the answers and try and see how can we actually demystify the myths that we have. That the world out there is so hard. We'll discuss a few questions here and there. For you, I want you to walk away with some concrete steps and concrete things that you will do when we finish this program, for you to actually really know how to tap into these ideas and how to tap into these opportunities. The opportunities are there. So I think it's for us to get ready and tap them. So all of you, hope you can hear me well, see me as well, and let's get rolling. Okay. For me, let me just start by giving you a quick background about myself. So I was brought up in quite a modest family. With my parents traveled a lot across the different cities and different towns. So my childhood was very. I had to go around with to get new friends, learn to join new schools. So I had to also lose a lot of friends and gain a lot of friends. But all in all, I would say it was a happy childhood. I didn't lack anything. Food was always provided on the table. But also, I'll say it wasn't that I also had a very luxurious childhood. That is definitely also not the case. But I would say it was just a normal childhood. And with that, I think, that's the background. I also finished my undergraduate from Mueni University. So shout out to everyone who's from Moi or from Eldoret. Yeah, that's where I did my undergraduate. I also done a postgraduate degree and an MBA from University of Pretoria in South Africa. Yeah, and now I'm in Kenya. I'm also trying to pursue another MBA at USIU. So also shout out to everyone from USIU. Yeah, I'm looking forward to us interacting together and also hearing a lot from you. So maybe the first question, let's try and demystify the first point, is when actually Michael and the team were asking me about, maybe sharing a few thoughts here, the first question that came to mind was, are universities producing unemployable people? That's why we have to actually have a discussion today about identifying these opportunities. Do you think the university is producing people who are unemployable? That when you go out there in the market, there are many people who don't have jobs today. Is it the case? What do you think? Maybe you can drop a chat. You can try and give your response on the chat, share your ideas. So are universities producing unemployable people? That's the question. For me, the answer is an absolute no. An absolute no. Universities are producing employable people. You are employable. You have a chance to be employed. Many people are doctors, many people are, lawyers, we have architects, we have, software developers, marketers. Many people have got jobs and from the universities that we have studied. But also, I would also say that many people have not got the jobs. So maybe we would say that it's a very competitive market. It's a competitive environment that the jobs are limited. So you are employable, but also we need to make sure that you position yourself in a way that you can be employable. Okay. I know many discussions also have been going on around you starting your own business. That is also a discussion we can have. So you can start your own business. You can be an entrepreneur. You can be employable. You can get a job, but it's very competitive. And that's the truth of the matter. So we have to make sure we position ourselves in a way that we can easily, be at the right place at the right time and get the right opportunity that comes. And when the opportunity comes, it's easy for you to strike it. So yeah, you can be employed, but I would also want to know if, from your point of view, do you think universities are producing unemployable people? I'd love to have that discussion. Okay, so now that we have mentioned that, yes, you can be employed, you are employable, how do we position ourselves? And that's now to the second question. How do you position yourself in your university while in school to be employable or to, get a competitive advantage as compared to the rest? And let me give you a personal experience. When I was graduating from university, I did an undergraduate in statistics. My fellow friends, colleagues was studying BCom. And in Moi University at that time, we had 1,500 students graduating from business administration. Yeah. Now let's imagine a situation where 1,500 of you are graduating, you've been given your certificate, and we're all now deployed into the job market. At this job market, we all have the same units. We most likely have the same grades that we have got. But now we're all looking for the job. If 10 of us end up being at a waiting lobby, waiting to join the interview, how do you distinguish yourself? Because all of you have studied the same thing. All of you have done BCom or you've done business administration. And thanks, I've seen the many universities that you're from. Shout out to all of you. But how do you distinguish yourself? That is where the tough question is, because how does an employer distinguish that, let me choose you over your other friend? So one thing that we need to really do while we're in university, and as we identify the opportunities, we need to prepare ourselves in a way. So the first thing is we need to develop additional skills. What do I mean by this? And let me give you an example. If you're studying maybe computer science, or you're studying marketing, if your major is marketing, you should be able to market. If you studied finance, you should be able to actually balance a balance sheet. Those skills are really necessary. We have to make sure that we link whatever we learn in class from, the academics to the actual real world. So you did a degree, you majored in marketing, for example. If you majored in marketing, you should be able to come up with marketing concepts. If I give you a phone, or I have my coffee here, I give you this cup, can you market it? And can you try and get 1 or 2 people to buy? These are the skills that you definitely need to have for you to distinguish yourself from the rest. Now imagine the 1,500 of you who are there. You should be able to be in a position where you can show that you have additional skills. You know, you are a software developer. Have you actually tried to build a small, app? Have you developed a small website? You need to have those skills. And those skills is what are some of the things that will distinguish you from the rest. The second point is you need to try and participate in extracurricular activities in the university. I will delve deeper into this when we're talking about, more details about how to identify these opportunities. But the extracurricular activities in the universities are really critical, and you need to really try and get involved. Let me come back to that one. Just pause it there. So 1, develop additional skills. 2, participate in extracurricular activities. 3, this is a very important one, is the linkage between academia and the professional world. Now, as a potential employer, I could be an employer. You could maybe sit on the other side, and I am an interviewer. One question I always ask my interviewees is, okay, I am in a power tools business, so maybe it's a sales environment. Let's talk about it like that. It's a sales environment, so it's really a sales job or a marketing job that I could be potentially interviewing for. So I will ask you, if I give you 100,000 shillings, what would you do different in my business? What would you do different in my area of work that would give value? Now, you have studied marketing in your school. You have studied sales. You have done this and that, I want you to actually come to the interview knowing or having researched about my organization, having researched about what we do, and also coming up with ideas on how best we could improve ourselves. So, because that for me, you will bring value to me when you're joining the organization, and that's a plus for you, because I would feel, yes, you are a potential good employee, because you will bring value to me. So I'll ask you, if I give you 100,000 shillings, how would we market our product to get well in the market? What would you do? Please come up with those ideas. Now, those ideas will come through your interest. It will come through you having a curious mindset. You're an economist, for example. You're studying economy. Can you articulate about inflation? Can you discuss about it? Can you think about why the exchange rate has been fluctuating over the years? Are you able to comment on that? You need to have a curious mindset and try and link whatever you're studying in class to what is actually happening on the ground, what is actually happening in the work, in the business environment. To me, that's a very, very important cue. So the thing here is to have a curious mindset. What you need to do is Google is your friend. Try and research, try and learn, trying to interact with people in the same field and get to see what do they know. So that when I give you 100,000 shillings and tell you, this is my product that I am selling, how can we market it? And you will tell me, these are the best things that we can do. We can go above the line marketing. We can do, below the line marketing. We can come up with various topics about how we can do it. If you're in finance, will you comment to me how best can we balance, how best can we invest? What areas should we as a company invest in? Those are the things that you need to have. You need to have a curious mindset. So how do you position yourself? Develop additional skills. Participate in extracurricular activities. I'll come to that. Linkage between academia and the professional world. This is having a curious mindset. Okay, let me move to another point. How can you network as a student? That's sometimes a difficult question. Many people are introverts, others are extroverts. It could be difficult to network. You don't know how to network. You don't know why you should network. Why is it important anyway that I should network? Well, let me tell you, this is a saying that is common to most people. I don't think, but it's a common phrase that your network is your net worth. the number of people you know, the number of people you know actually count as your network. Okay, what do I mean by this? I mean that if you are able to get to know a number of people who are in different fields, you can get to learn a lot. Doors can be opened. And the only way these doors can be opened, the way you can actually learn from these people, from your mentors, is through networking. Okay? Now, as a student or as a young person, one easy way to start how to network, it will be easy. It is to join clubs in the university. Go to your billboard in your university and try and find out what is happening in this university. Other than my classwork, other than what is going on in class today, what else is going on in this university? What clubs are there that I can join? Which organizations are there that I can participate in? And I'm so glad that all of you today are here at Centonomy. This is an exciting thing because you're actually participating in something other than your academia. That is the best way to start networking. Get to know the people around you. Get to know what do they do. Get to participate there. When you network, I will tell you a few values that I think can actually add value to you as you network. And I'll actually share a personal story around that. But first of all, get to know what is happening in university. There's a science club in university. You know, there's a software developers club. You know, people who are interested in app development. Maybe there is a marketers club. You know, there is a languages club. You know, get to participate in these clubs. Join them. Go and see what are they doing. Try and participate there. What is the difference? And why am I saying this? Let's think about our 1,500 students who graduated at the same year together with me. When they all were graduating, in your CV, all of you have the same grades. Can you imagine if you mention that also you participated in this organization, this and this and that is what you did. So we participated in, you know, maybe feeding some, you know, unprivileged people. Or, you know, we participated in a cleaning exercise in the environment, or maybe you planted trees and you did this and that. You have added value. You have participated in a way, and that is important. Now, what value does that give you? You're able to network. You're able to meet different people. You're able to interact with people from different cultures. You're able to interact with people from different backgrounds. Yeah, and that is important. Yeah. Attend job fairs, attend other functions that in the university. You should try and know what is happening in the university other than when is your next class. I think that's a very important point. Yeah, so if you have questions, if you have pointers that you want to also add, I would be happy. Now, what is the value of networking? Now, personally, I was in Moi University. I also was quite an active member of one of the student clubs in Moi University. The club is, I think, present in many or most of the universities in Kenya. It's called ISEC. I was a volunteer with ISEC. And we used to try and identify opportunities for young people to go out of the country, to go and volunteer in corporate internships or community internships. We also try to get opportunities for other young people across the world to come to Kenya to participate in community work or in also corporate internships. What did this entail? This entailed us going to some corporates and trying to ask for opportunities for, you know, these young people who could come to Kenya. We had to go to the community and trying to look for opportunities, you know, try and see, okay, in this area, maybe we should plant trees. Maybe we could get a few volunteers to come and help us do that. And with that, the value that I got from this was there was a lot of multicultural engagement. I got to interact with people from all walks of life, all social lives, all different tribes, different nationalities. It really broadened my mindset. You know, some of us actually came from universities where many people had, they come from the same community. But can you imagine if you volunteer in an organization, volunteer in a certain club, you might end up now interacting with people from different walks of life. And this opens up doors, this opens up opportunities. I have friends now across many countries across the world. I can't say that there was anything extraordinary that I did. I just participated in these activities. So one value that I have and that I got from volunteering, from participating in these organizations and clubs was living diversity. I got to interact with a lot of people, and that was the value. That was important because I could have a different mindset. I could have a different worldview, because someone with a different upbringing, and we're discussing about a certain topic, I can hear from you, you have a different point of view, and I have a different point of view. It was exciting to have such conversations, and I loved it. At the end of the day, in my workplace, I realized we actually interact with people from different walks of life. So it was quite easy to interact. It was quite easy to participate together. And our teamwork actually worked out very well. First point was living diversity. This is a value of networking, a value of participating in extracurricular activities. Second point is, what is another value that I got from volunteering was activating leadership. Can you imagine we are planning an activity to go and plant trees at a certain area? You have to organize a team together. One person has to take the lead. One person has to plan the logistics. One other person has to do the communication. Other person has to do this and that. You end up actually sharpening your leadership skills. And one thing as an employer, they want to see how good are you in working as a team. So if you have participated in such activities, it's easy for you to actually say how you have participated and how actually you have been a leader. You coordinated a whole team to go and plant trees in Nyandarua. You coordinated a team to go for hiking and this and that. You are actually showing, that you have some leadership skills and you're sharpening them. That is a way in which you're preparing yourself for the workplace. You're preparing yourself to grow in your career and actually to get these opportunities. Because what I'm talking about is how best you can prepare yourself so that when you're positioning yourself for a role, you're positioning yourself for an interview, you're looking for the next step in your career, you're looking for your next step in your life, you have things to talk about, you have a position to stand on, and you can share the things that you have done. And you're distinguishing yourselves from that 1,500 students who graduated at the same time like you. I hope we're on the same page. Basmi, if we are together, we're still talking about how to identify opportunities. Let me just see how many minutes I have. Okay, I just have a few more, maybe another 5 more minutes, a few more other points. Then I open it up for a few questions. I see a question or two on the chat. Please keep them coming. Last point on the values of participating and volunteering is enjoying participation. Let me tell you, there's so much value that you can get when you go out there and you participate in an activity. I was talking about planting trees. You participate in an activity of, serving the underprivileged, maybe serving food, or also, providing clothes for the, people who don't have clothes, or even providing shelter for the homeless. There is so much value when you feel you have actually you have impacted in the society. You have left the environment, you have left the society better than where you found it. It's called enjoying participation. You just have fun. Life is short. Let me just tell you. We have lived in a very turbulent time in the last 2 years where Corona and all this has come up, and it's things that we never anticipated. We have lost many loved ones in the process. Life is too short that we should not have fun. So while you're in your university, in as much as you're studying your actuarial science, you're studying your finance course and whatever, that is very good. But also participate in other things. Get to do other things as well. Life is short, my friends. Life is short. Try and participate, do things. In the process, you get to learn. In the process, you will get to experience different cultures. In the process, you are activating your leadership. In the process, you're preparing yourself for the workplace. That is a good, I think for me, it's a win-win situation, because at the end of the day, you have enjoyed your campus days. I enjoyed mine. I think you can enjoy yours too. One thing that I would tell you that you will lose out on is Netflix. You lose out on the series that you watched because you're out there impacting the society. You're out there having fun. You're out there trying to interact with different communities. You will lose out on watching some of the series, and that's absolutely fine. You have nothing to lose. The series are not going anywhere. Netflix is going to be there when you come back. You will still catch up when you can catch up, but you will have gained a lot in your life. Okay? Now, How do you identify these opportunities while you're in university, or while you how do you identify these opportunities in your career? Now, I have 3 points, and then these are the 3 points that I'll wrap up with. Okay, one is you have to identify some interests and pursue these interests. Okay, this is how to sharpen and how to identify these opportunities. Now, let's say, give you an example. You are in marketing, you study marketing, and you have an interest in marketing, okay? You should try and develop those skills. Try and find out which players in these industries or in the market who are doing very well in this field that you're interested in. If you're a software developer, you're very interested in developing softwares, developing apps. Who is the best person who you know is developing apps? Try and follow them. Try to have a conversation with them. Get to know what are they doing. How are they doing it? You know, you could get to learn a lot from them because you have a shared interest between you and that person. Okay, maybe you're interested in finance. Who is the best finance person that you know? Which companies do you know are doing very well that you are actually interested in getting to know about them? If maybe these big 5 auditing companies, you're interested in working with them, get to know what do they do? What are the projects they're working on now? If you're interested in consulting, try and find out, okay, maybe McKinsey or Boston Consulting Group, what are they doing? What are the projects that they're doing at the moment? You know, get involved in those interests that you're interested in them and pursue them. Learn about it, Google it, try and follow friends on LinkedIn. Make sure you have a LinkedIn profile. Follow these people who you are interested in, you know, get to know what they do, try and reach out. As we talked about in the networking, try and see if, you know, there are opportunities where they are. If they are participating in a talk like this one, try and jump in and try and interact with them, get to know them. This is you getting closer to these opportunities that you're interested in. You have to identify those interests and try and get to them. Second point is capital. We talk about capital in a way, and I think when I just mentioned capital, everyone thinks about financial capital. You need to have financial capital. Yes, that's true. Maybe to build, you know, for an entrepreneurship business that you're trying to do, or you have a certain interest and, you know, maybe you need capital for that. The capital I want to talk about today is called social capital. I hope you're writing this down. Social capital. What is social capital? Social capital is the best way I think I would put it is, if you want to have a wedding and you're calling a few friends, maybe some of you have been called to a committee to participate in a friend or a cousin or something is having a wedding, and they ask you to contribute some money here and there. Those people who contribute, this is social capital. It's because you guys have a connection together, and they are able to come through for you when the need comes. Yeah, and that's social capital. Let's give you another situation. Maybe you are not feeling well, a loved one is not feeling well, you have to fundraise. Social capital is what will help you to get fundraising, because people will now come to contribute to you. Can you imagine a situation where 5 years down the line, 3 years down the line, you haven't talked to anyone? They send you a text one day, and the text is, hey, I'm looking for a job, could you please help me? That guy maybe will ignore your text, or you would also ignore that person's text because maybe they haven't talked to you in a very long time, but now they're asking for a favor. Social capital is the people who are around you. It's the people. It's not the finances, but it's the people who are around you who can help you to get the resources that you need when you need it. Okay? Now, you need to build social capital. You would find, I would also talk about political capital, you know. Maybe I'll talk about Baba or something. He has a lot of political capital because he has amassed over the years a political power base, you know, that now I could say he has a strong political capital. Now, you need to have a strong social capital. How do you do this? Maintain relationships with your friends. People people who you see have value to you. Maintain those relationships. Network quite a lot. And when you network and someone gives you their business card, try and write to them. Or someone gives you their number, try and use it. If you look through your phone booth, how many people do you not talk to? You're losing out on those opportunities because these are social capitals that are going cold. You need to warm them up. Try and chat up with an old-time friend and say, hey, how are you doing? You know, it's been a long time. This is building social capital. When the need comes, hey, my friend, I see you're working at Coca-Cola. Hey, I saw this job advert here. I was interested in it. Could you maybe give me some tips here and there? But if you're not talking to that guy, you've never talked to him in a very long time, you are not going to get that. There's going to be a barrier. So you have to build up your social capital. Okay. So how to identify opportunities in your career? 1, have interest and pursue them. 2, build your social capital. Social capital is really key. If you have questions on that, maybe I'd be happy to discuss it. Last point is you have to speak about your achievements. This is called bragging rights. You have the bragging rights. In Kenya, many of us are, you know, told to be humble. We're told don't talk too much about what you've done. You know, that was, and when you did something outstanding and you're just like, this is what I did. You know, talk about the things you've done. If you want to grow in your career, you have to speak about what you've done. You have to easily articulate what you have done as your achievement. That's, you know, when we started 20 minutes ago, we talked about, you know, maybe participating in extracurricular activities. We talked about, you know, developing additional skills, talking about this and that. You know, you have done quite a lot. You have participated in, you know, volunteering activities here and there. You need to be able to speak about them in a very articulate way that this is what I have done. I led a team, we went hiking, we did this and that. You know, this is the learnings that we did. These are the challenges we faced, and this is how we mitigated those challenges. You need to speak about your achievements. You need to know how to really do them. I see many people, when I ask them, I say, I was a member of a Rotary Club. So you just said you're a member, but you're not able to mention what did you do while you were there? What achievements did you do? You know, what things did you participate in? Sometimes you already have these things with us, but we are not able to articulate them. Sometimes we're not able to bring them out very clearly. And for me, if you're able to articulate very clearly what you have done, you're on the right track. You're the best of, you have a best chance for you to actually grow in your career. So yeah, I think my time is up. I think that's all I had for now. I'll be happy to hear if there are any questions, and maybe we can discuss any further. Thank you so much. I think we have a takeaway. I hope you took a few notes here and there. And looking forward to engage further. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you also, Kemboi. Now, I'd like to just, your last point, you said speak about your achievements. I'd like to change that a bit.
Yes.
Don't just speak about them. Shout.
Exactly.
Shout about your achievements. You know, as in, you know, as Africans, and Kemboi, you said it, we're told to be humble, but some things, as in, you just have to say and shout what you've been able to do, right? Now, I've been taking some notes. I always say that I'm a student of life. And now, you started by asking, are universities producing unemployable graduates? And the answer is no. We are all employable, right? And then, how are we going to position ourselves? How do we distinguish ourselves? And you said you have to develop additional skills, right? You have to go and engage in those extracurricular activities. And then you also have to link between the academia and what is happening in the real world, right? So that also when you leave school and when you come to the business world, to the marketplace, you're able to deliver, right? To deliver what you are taught, right? And then how to network as a student. And I cannot say this anymore. You guys, you need to join a club, right? And I can tell you this, I have seen people who in the professional world right now who are shining are mostly people who are in clubs, right? Because they got the skills there. You know, in clubs, you get to organize events, you get to meet people, you get to network, you get to do a lot of things. And these things are actually helping you gain the experience that you might need when you come to the workplace, right? So we need to join clubs and engage in those extracurricular activities. And when we join clubs, don't just be a passive member, right? We need to be active members so that we can also say, this is what I was able to do at XYZ club. This is what I was able to do. These are my achievements. I came in, I became a secretary, I became a vice president, a president, and this is what I was able to do, right? And then also, we have to identify our interests, right? And then pursue them. And then you mentioned LinkedIn. And again, this is one place where you're supposed to shout about your achievements. It's LinkedIn, right? So shout about your achievements there. And then you talked about capital. Talked about the capital that you have, which is financial, that we all know, and then social capital. Now, let me tell you guys something. I am where I am today because of social capital, right? And I will tell you one thing that I do, and my colleagues know this, and those of us who are in the room, my colleagues can attest to this. I try and get people to do me favors. I don't know if that's controversial, but then what I do, I make sure I pay back that favor, right? So I make sure that I get someone to do me something, and then I pay them back, right? Now, what I'm trying to do here is just trying to, build rapport, build that social capital, so that also, when I might need another big favor, I might start with a small favor, and then I pay you, and then I pay you back somewhere, and then because I know somewhere I might need you in the future, and you will remember, this Mike is my guy, Mike did this once, So guys, I can assure you, social capital, we actually say in our classes that social capital is your fuel up your career ladder, right? So if you want to go up the career ladder real quick, you need to have this social capital, right? And then again, speak and shout about your achievements, right? Now, Kemboi, before I let you go, I saw one question here on the chat. This is Elsie. Elsie was asking, she has a question on the part of networking. Can I volunteer in a field of interest, and how do I go about that?
Yeah, yes, you can volunteer in a field of interest. You just need to look around. So let's give an example of a particular field that you could be interested in. Maybe you're interested in the travel and tours industry. Okay, you need to get to try and research. First of all, if you're in university, let's start from there. There are, university programs. I'm sure there are, different things to do with tours and travel. Maybe there's a tours and travel department, and maybe there's a tours and travel club. Start from there. Try and see what activities do they have, and try and participate in it. Second, try and come online. Try and check on social media. Try and see what activities are there in the tours and travel space that maybe you are interested in, and just reach out. I think the easiest thing is, we sometimes are shy to just write an email to someone, to just write a message to someone and say, hey, I like the thing that you guys are doing. Can I also, I'd love to participate when you guys have a chance. Try and follow influential people who are in your field of interest. Okay, you would always see that they are sharing a lot of things that is going on, and you will be informed a lot about what is happening in that space. Follow them. Try and you will see, the number of things that they're doing. You will also hear from, the numerous people that you're following in that field of interest. You will see what they're doing, and then now you can just reach out easily and try and participate. If there's a function going on somewhere about, maybe the tours and travel, about the tourism industry or this and that, go there. Try get there, and you have to speak. Go and talk to people. Try and just interact with people and say, hey, yeah, I'm a student. I'm at Shekaratina University. And this is what I'm interested in, this and that. And just say, I'm interested in volunteering here and there. Many times, volunteer opportunities are open for everyone to apply for. So these opportunities are up for grabs for us. The only thing that we need to do is to capture them. What we need to do is try and get in so that you know what is going on, and ask for the opportunity. Opportunity will be granted to only those who ask.
All right, great. Now, Alvin was asking, capital can also be skills, right? That's growing your skills and also being good in what you do. And yes, I agree with that. When you grow your skills, you're also growing your capital, right? Now, Omuya has a question here on the chat. He's asking, how do you develop a sound or good LinkedIn profile as a student? Kemboi?
Yes.
How would you advise a student to develop a good LinkedIn profile? That one, when a recruiter looks at, they're like, wow, this one I need to hire.
Yeah, very good. Let me tell you, all these points that we have just highlighted, and especially Michael, as you have just given a summary, that's
shout about what you've done. That's one.
Shout about what you've done. Talk about it. And now, the only way you can actually build a good profile is the profile talks about the things that you have done. So you need to try and do things, try and join a club, participate in the club, and then you'll write there on that LinkedIn profile that this is what I have done, because then you're able to say some of the things that you have participated in. Try and get involved with different activities, different extracurricular activities here and there. If you can volunteer, that is the best thing to do. If you volunteer, you come and write it on your LinkedIn profile that this is what I have done. The profile is rich based on the things that you have done. That's what makes it rich. So you need to try as much as possible to get out there. The more hours you spend watching Netflix, you're losing out. You need to get out and get out of your house, get out of your room, go and try and things out there. And if you participate in things out there, then those are the things that you can write down in your profile. So because you will not write in your profile that you have watched 10 seasons, So you can only talk about different things that you have participated in. And that's how to make your profile rich.
Wait, now I can tell you guys for a fact, after this session, I am going to update my LinkedIn profile and say that I was the moderator of this session, right? Now, guys, we are asking how you develop a good LinkedIn profile.
Yeah.
Listen to the tips I would. So after this session is over, I'm going to update my LinkedIn and say I was the moderator of this session. I had Kemboi, I had I had Alex, I had Sue on the panel, And then also another way that you can build a good LinkedIn profile is to get people to give you recommendations, right? Now, how do you get those recommendations? Again, remember the networking we're talking about? Remember the social capital we talked about? Yes. All right, great. Thank you so much, Kemboi. Now, Kemboi, before I let you go, kindly let us know how can we reach you? If we have questions, if we have something that we'd like to reach you out, or how can we get a hold of you?
Well, my email is there, and I'll just drop my number as well. I mean, I'm really open. I'm happy to support people where I can, when I can. Many people also held my hand when I was young, and when I was also developing myself. So I'll also be happy to do the same. So I'll just share my number, or maybe you can also do that. I'll give you my number, and everyone can have access to it. No problem.
All right. Great. Thank you so much. I see in the chat that Kileo M has written, yes, a summary of Kemboi's facilitation. That is fantastic. Thank you so much. Then I see, Kemboi, you've put your contacts. So guys, so just reach out to Kemboi, and then you say, I was one of the attendees of the Centonomy Cross Campus Hangout, and that's where I got to get your contacts from. And if you do that, you'll be using some of your social capital to, to get ahead, because I know Kemboi might be approached by many people. But if you say we met at the Centonomy Cross Campus Hangout, I know Kemboi will listen to you, right? Great. Now, yes, we now want to go to the next speaker, and I see our next speaker is already in the session. Mr. Alex Mativo. Alex Mativo. Now, before we go to the next speaker, I'd like to remind you that this Cross Campus Hangout is brought to you courtesy of Centonomy Campus Edition. And Centonomy Campus Edition is a 6-week program that will teach you about money, about growing your career, and also about business. And today we are giving away a discount on registration. You can register with just 500 bob. Just because you attended today, you can register with just 500 bob, right? Now, I'd also like to encourage us, those of us in the socials, tweet using the hashtag Centonomy Campus Edition, hashtag the Empowered Youth, and hashtag Wealth Creation, right? Great. Now, without further ado, I would like to welcome Mr. Alex Mativo. Now, Alex Mativo is one of those people, yani, unajua, have you ever sat and asked yourself, what am I doing with my life, right? Now, and I will tell you why. Because Alex is the founder and CEO of Nanasi, right? Now, he's an award-winning fashion designer and entrepreneur with 2 ventures under his belt. And you say, imagine, he founded ELAP at 19, right? To eradicate electronic waste through fashion, and made it one of the 50 most innovative ventures globally, right? Now, his recent venture, Nanasi, is looking to help millions of business owners in emerging markets to digitize and grow their business. Alex.
Michael.
Welcome. Karibu.
Thank you so much. Lovely introduction.
Fantastic, fantastic. Welcome, Alex. Now, I say, I was saying you're one of those people that make me ask myself, what have I been doing with my life, because Alex, you've achieved so much, but I don't want to say, I want you to tell it to our audience. I want it to come from the horse's mouth, right? So Alex, the floor is yours. Take it away.
All right, Michael. Thank you so much. Happy to be here. So I think I'm just going to make my session very interactive. I'm a storyteller. That's what I like to do. So this is going to be stories. Story. When we were kids, and someone was about to say a story, we'd be like, story come. Yeah. So that's the kind of hat I'm going to wear today, of a storyteller. All right. So yeah, just a brief intro. I'm Alex Mativo, entrepreneur, fashion designer. Again, just like you said, 2 ventures. So one, my first company was called eLab. We were eradicating electronic waste. And whenever someone asks me what electronic waste is, I usually ask them, do you remember your first phone? Mine was a Nokia 3310, the shaped like a brick, So mine was a Nokia 3310, shaped like a brick. But what happened to it? If you ask me, I did not know. I probably threw it away. And so did, millions of people across the world. And what you basically did there was you created electronic waste, right? And your electronic gadgets have harmful chemicals, which, are harmful to the environment and all that. And that's what my first company was trying to do, to tell people that, hey, you have this waste, it's toxic, and here's how I can eradicate it. And we're eradicating it by turning those, old devices into just products for the fashion industry. And it grew, it became a huge company. And now my company right now is called Nanasi. So Nanasi is an operating system for restaurants. If you've been to any restaurant, I'm sure you've seen the cashier or the waiter, with a screen or a tablet, punching your order inside, and they somehow, like magic, the chef brings you food, and you wonder how that happened. So with the guys that help, restaurants across Africa, just operate with, the technology that runs the businesses. All right. So as I said, I want to keep my session today. I have a couple of stories that I want to tell, which I think are going to be, just passing across the message that I want to pass across, because I've noticed that as humans, we assimilate very complex ideas to stories, and that's, exactly what I want to do today. So first things first, I'm glad that you guys are here for the session, but unfortunately, here's something I've noticed over the years. Unfortunately, after such insightful sessions, after someone like Kemboi gives you their number, to reach out to them, unfortunately, 98% of you will do nothing about it. Like, you just go home, forget about it. But then there's like the 2% who are built different. The 2% will, reach out to us. They'll, just be inspired to start something, do amazing things. And I really hope that you guys are not going to be the 98% that I've, seen over the years. All right. The first thing I want to talk about is, someone said there must be the 2%. Awesome. So the first thing I want to talk about is like how I started. Like you might look at my story and be like, oh yeah, maybe I was built different or I was made that way. But the truth is, it took a lot of internal growth for me to get to a point where, I want to start a business. So I remember I cleared high school in 2011. I was in Lenana School. I don't know if any of you know about Lenana School or studied there. And I remember during high school, just I think I was in Form 3. I joined the club. That's what the previous speaker was talking about, just doing things. I joined a club called the Junior Achievement. And before joining the club, I remember I used to say that I want to be an engineer. I want to, like for me, if you ask me what I wanted to do in life, it was me giving you generic answers of, yeah, I want to be a doctor, I want to be an engineer, but I did not really know why I wanted to do that, But then during this club, so the club was called Junior Achievement, and what you were supposed to do is come up with a project, or rather a business while in school, and then at the end of the semester, you compete with other schools. Like, so the judges would judge you based on which business did better than the other, right? So Linana is on Gong Road next to Karen. It gets very cold sometimes. So a friend of mine and myself, we had this idea that we're going to make scarves, for guys, so that because it gets really cold, like you're just going to have a scarf that we made for you, and then you're going to pay us money and we, sell you the product. And I remember during the competition, some schools had really creative ideas. Some guys had made iron boxes using hot water. Some guys had like a biogas digester, like very innovative ideas. But then we only had a scarf, and we became, or rather, like during the competition, we were like best in Kenya and top 3 in Africa. And looking back at that experience, one, it exposed me to business, and then it showed me that business does not need to be anything complex. Like, it's not rocket science. Like, yes, Elon Musk is building rockets, but then 98% of businesses are not rocket science. It's the simple ideas that do really well, right? So after that experience, I was the kind of person who was now, okay, I can do business. Business is a thing. Business is like, it's the equivalent of being Michelangelo or Da Vinci or an artist. Like, an entrepreneur is someone who can create something out of nothing and introduce the world to new things. And to me, that was so amazing that that's what I set out to do after high school. So read a lot of books, was around so many people, and I'm sure not all of us have like the fortunate background to be exposed to certain things from early. And what I tell anyone whenever they come to me and say, maybe I don't live in a very privileged place, or I haven't really grown up with much, what I tell them is the fact that you're aware of that. Here's one thing you can do. Here's one favor you can do to yourself. How about you drown yourself in as much positivity as possible? Go look at someone who has done something that you want to do, just emulate them. Be in that mental framework that, hey, this is possible for me. Why? Because here's a human being like me who can, just accomplish something so awesome that I want to be like. And whenever you win, like the first step to being successful actually is just in your mind. Like, whenever you get into that frame of mind that you can do anything, the moment you believe that you can do anything, then trust me, there's nothing that's like there's not so many hurdles in your life that are gonna break you. So for me, I think that was the first thing that I had to overcome, like become the kind of person who believes that I can do anything. And once you start believing, you can do so many other things, right? So mindset. And if you don't have mentors, or if you don't come from a privileged background, again, just drown yourself in as much positivity as possible. So do not forget that mindset, right? All right, cool. So, and the reason why I talk about mindset is because personally, I've grown up in a small town called Athi River. Not so much happens in Athi. It's a dusty town. Right now is when they're linking, Nairobi and Athi River with, like, a highway. But back then, it was this isolated town, just like maybe Rongai or Kiserian, where nothing happens, and you don't really have someone who you can look up to and say they've done amazing with their life that I want to emulate. But just from the experiences I've told you, from early I believed that I could do something amazing, and my first business, which was eLab, like it was me observing it was me believing that I can do something, and then it was me observing at River and realizing that in as much as it's isolated, you have all these companies. You have Bamburi Cement, you have so many companies in Arthur River who are contributing to this problem that I had identified, which was they were dumping used electronics in a dump site. And I literally used to go there myself, dump it, collect the waste, turn them into art, and sell them. So I wasn't really fazed by my environment. I was like, yes, it's like this, but to me, this is a silver lining. I can make something out of myself, So from just humble at the river town to just dining with royalty, like all came from the fact that I just believed that I could do something really amazing. So my talk today is also about how you can start small and how you can build a big business. So one thing I want to differentiate is what a startup is and what small business is. A lot of you want to start businesses, but normally not everybody knows what the difference might be. So for an example of a startup, or rather what a startup is, it's a business that when they're both starting out, when both startup and small businesses are starting out, they're both the same size, but the difference between a small business and a startup is a startup can scale really quickly and become a huge Fortune 500 company with the right set of skills or technology or customers, right? And then a small business is something that you can do in your local neighborhood or city. And I'm going to give you an example of both. So an example of a startup is, let's say Facebook, right? In 2004, they were only at Harvard. So it was a startup business. It was small, but it had the potential to scale, across the world and become this huge, ubiquitous phenomenon. An example of a small business is something like maybe a laundromat that you can start something, do laundry for people, or maybe a fashion design business. Like you can start maybe get a space in a mall and have all this luxury design that you do and sell to people. So, this are the differences between a startup and a small business. And whenever you guys are, in that sort of, I want to start something, always ask yourself, do I want to start a startup business or, small business? Both have their merits and demerits. The good thing about a small business is you can achieve stability from early on. It doesn't come with all the pressure and all the difficulties that a startup comes with. But then the downside is you need so much capital and overhead costs to scale, small business. But then advantage of a startup is as much as you start small, as much as it's so hard to grow, but the moment you find your ground, and the moment you're scaling, it can be something so huge, and the return on investment can be, immense, right? You can start something in Nairobi today, and next 5 years, it's valued at $1 billion. Guys across the world are using your product, right? So those are the major differences. All right, cool. So many people usually come to me and ask me, so Alex, where do I start? What do I do? I have this idea. What do I do about it? So I want to give you like my 4 steps to doing anything. They might sound simple, but they're not. But I hope at the end of the day, this sparks something in your mind, and you have sort of like a roadmap in how you can navigate this entrepreneurship space. So the first thing I usually tell anyone that comes to me and says, Alex, where do I start? The first thing I tell them is just start. Why? Because I've seen so many people with amazing ideas, but they try wait for the perfect time, or they try look for that one formula which is guaranteed success. But then the truth is no such thing exists, right? The only guaranteed way of succeeding is by taking the first step, right? I remember when I was starting out eLab, so eLab was basically a fashion company. We would go call offices, and then they would give us like their old computers and would recycle them. And funny story. So one time I had a huge order. So initially I was making just small orders for clients. I'd make 1 or 2 products, I'd deliver them myself. But then this time I got an order of about 20 products. So really excited. But then it came with things which I hadn't really, figured out in the beginning. One of which was packaging. Like I did not know how to package my products. You can imagine you got in an order from a client. You want to impress them because they're paying you money, obviously, and you don't have packages. So I remember I was looking around for guys who can do packages, and being a small business at the time, I didn't really have the capital to approach large factories and tell them to manufacture for me, or rather to make me specific packages for my products. So also I remember like looking online at websites like Alibaba. They had a minimum order quantity, which is basically you needed to order about 100,000 boxes, right? And that cost money. And I did not need 100,000 boxes, I just needed 20. So what I did was I put on a suit, and then I went to this packaging company in Mombasa Road. I hope none of them is on the call. So went to that packaging company, looking all business-like, told them I have this huge company, I'm making products, I need to assess whether they have good packaging which can meet my standards. And the guys were like, oh yeah, welcome, have a sit. Had like a whole meeting, and they agreed to make me 100,000 boxes, which again I do not need. So what I told them was, I'm going to order 20 samples. If the samples are good, then we're going to do business. If the samples are not good, we're not doing business, right? So one day later, they called me. They had my sample boxes. Again, there were 20. How convenient. Went there, told them that, oh yeah, thank you. This look good. I'll get back to you in 5 business days, whether we like your work or not. So the packages, went to deliver my products. And then 4 and 5 business days later, I was like, no, we're not gonna, take you 100,000 boxes. We don't need them. My business partners feel like it does not meet the standards, but here is payment for your 20 boxes, right? So, from that experience, I was just thinking to myself, like, you're gonna be in situations where you feel like you don't have enough resources to start. But then, I'm sure you guys are smart. So there's always gonna be a way you can figure out how to navigate certain hurdles and, circumvent everything that is thrown your way. Why? Because once you start, you're gonna get into a groove, and then you're gonna build momentum over time, and then you're gonna figure out things as you go along, So there's no perfect time to start. Just start, just do it. Because whenever you're talking about your dream, or whenever you're talking about your huge business idea, we fail to understand that 90% of that dream, which that destination, is the journey itself. Like that journey itself is actually the dream that you're talking about. That's a large part. The end, or rather the end goal, is, just a fraction of what the dream is, All right, cool. So the second thing after you've just started, right? What next? What do I do, Alex? Second thing after you just started is I believe that good is better than perfect. Let me give you an example. Say myself, right? So, or rather, one example that people know that I'm going to just go back to is Facebook, right? Facebook began as a way for college students to connect, right? It was not very, like, it wasn't what Facebook is today. Facebook right now is $1 billion or $1 trillion company. But then early on, it was just a website where a college student would sign up, put their face, and just reach out to people. And that was enough for Mark and his co-founders to be like, oh yeah, this is something that people need. It's not perfect. It's something we can roll on, right? And I remember watching his movie, him saying that one time he left his laptop, which was where the Facebook server was running, and then it fried the laptop and Facebook was down, just because he left the laptop in the room and went for a party, But then, he was able to, the moment people fall in love with what you're trying to do, rather than what it is you have, you're gonna find that people don't really care whether it's perfect. People embrace you. People want to be involved in your journey, and that's why people like Elon Musk, they'll shoot videos of his rockets, failing to launch and all that, so that he can actually show people that one, he's human. He's on a journey to take us to Mars, and these are the failures that you're gonna encounter along the way. And myself, I've been in so many situations where I've failed so much, or rather, I've launched something that is embarrassing. And I really believe that if you're not embarrassed about your first product, you're moving too slow, right? And the problem with moving too slow is someone else is thinking about exactly what you're thinking about, and they're going to come disrupt you, take you out of business. And that's just how things are. So you've started, you've known that good is better than perfect, and you've put out it's called a minimum viable product, which means it's your product but not finished, but people can still use it, right? People can interact with it. So you put it out there, and once you put out your first initial not so perfect product, what you want to do is you want to learn, right? You want to get feedback from people. Why? Because if you're building a business and someone is supposed to pay you money for that product, it means that that person should see value in what you're giving them, right? And the best way to know whether you're giving them value is to ask them, is this product valuable to you? I remember like last year with Nanasi, before we discovered that this is the right, like this is what we want to do for restaurants, we failed so many times. So version 1 of Nanasi was a place where if you're selling on Instagram, you can go there, list your products, and guys can buy from you, right? Then we realized something about Kenyans or Africans in general. So someone with maybe an Instagram business here can tell you that for free. If you give, or rather if you digitize that process, and you've seen a product, let's say you want to buy a shoe from Instagram, right? I am the seller, you're the buyer. I've told you that this, or rather you clearly see that this product is 2,000 shillings. You will still DM me and be like, how much is that shoe? I don't know why. People just want to have conversations with you. And then if you tell them, okay, it's 2,000, click this link and buy it, they'll still text you and be like, I'm in downtown, can you deliver it? And then again, technology hasn't worked in this case. You will deliver the shoe to this person, and then they'll you'll be like, okay, this is your invoice. Can you click here and pay? They'll be like, no, here's M-Pesa. Where's your number? So you find that in as much as you're sort of trying to help a certain business segment digitize how they operate, you find that the customers are used to a certain way of interacting, that it becomes difficult to change the habits, right? So we quickly discovered that that was not the kind of problem we want to solve for that target market. And we stumble upon a business model that works. So that's how we discovered the restaurant space, right? Rapidly experimenting and seeing that, oh yeah, this is something that can actually work for this segment. How we realized this is during COVID, we discovered that very many restaurants turned to delivery only. Like they were only doing delivery only. Like the spaces were closed, so restaurants were losing business in the sense that you could not go eat from the restaurants. They needed a way for them to still stay afloat as a business, and serve their target customers. And realize we have the technology that can actually do that. And so whenever a restaurant becomes a delivery-only space, you find that backlog, if they were like a very manual business, you find that if they were taking orders on paper, or if the business owner doesn't really know what's happening left, right, and things that are all over the place, our tech can actually help them become very efficient, right? How like it's literally one place where you can put your menu, connect all your delivery platforms. So a business owner just has one screen, and you can run into your entire restaurant from just one screen. And people are used to buying food online, so don't DM you for price for food. Don't ask you to deliver. Like they will trust that, oh yeah, this is Glovo, I can order from Glovo and it can be delivered to my house. So already that's an experience that people are used to. And this is a technology that restaurants across Africa can actually benefit from, right? So we quickly pivoted to the food and beverage space and realized that in Africa, actually, food is the biggest segment in the retail space. So it's bigger than the social media businesses. Right now, it's at about $10 billion. So it's actually a profitable segment than the social media space, and that's what we quickly pivoted to that space. So the point of this is, whenever you launch your not so perfect product, the first thing you should do is get feedback from as many people as possible, especially those that you think would be paying you money for your product, right? Whenever they tell you that, oh yeah, this solves, or rather, the best sort of compliment is when someone says, take my money. That means they see the value that you're giving them, and that means you can scale that product to as many people like that as possible. So that's in business, we call that achieving a product market fit, where you found that your customer sees value in what you're building, and you can actually like there's a market for your product, right? It can become huge. All right, cool. So we've just started. We've launched the not so perfect product because we were not waiting for anyone, and then we're rapidly experimenting and saying whether and getting feedback and learning whether this solves the problem for the customer. So what's the next thing that you should do after that, or rather, what's another thing that I see like a lot of people in business struggling with from early is I've seen so many people that tell me, Alex, I have an idea, but I won't tell you what the idea is until you sign this non-disclosure agreement. But let me tell you something. Whatever idea you think is so genius, is so unique to you, 100 other people are thinking about the same thing. That's where you find that there's similar businesses all over the place. That's where you find that Facebook exists, Twitter exists, and Snapchat and all these other social media houses. Why? Because across the world, you're not the only one that's facing that problem. There's so many other smart people, others smarter than you, who, are thinking about the same thing, the same way that you're thinking about it. And if you don't freely share what you're thinking about, chances are you won't get, the right feedback from people, and you find you're just getting caught up in protecting that idea rather than implementing that idea. What I've noticed is whenever you have this amazing thing that you're thinking about and you openly share it with people, you find that you get perspectives which you hadn't really thought about, or you find just better ways of doing it, because again, people around you are very smart. They can teach you so many things that you didn't even look into. And over the years, how I've been able to sort of put myself in this situation is I pitch a lot. When you're running a business, one thing that you should always do is pitch. Pitching is basically talking about your product, talking about your business. It can be your customer, it can be an investor, or it can be just someone who you need feedback from, right? My most memorable pitch was in 2018. I was shifting from eLab to something else. I hadn't really thought of Nanasi yet. And I needed, sort of this feedback from people I look up to. So I applied for this thing online called Pitch at Palace. So Pitch at Palace is a competition where 60 businesses from across the world, thousands of businesses apply, and then only pick 60. And then they go to St. James Palace in London. Why St. James Palace in London? So the Duke of York, who runs or rather lives in the St. James Palace, is the person in the royal family who is responsible for entrepreneurship, right? So the whole idea is bring 50 businesses in one room. He's going to invite his, billionaire friends, people that you only see on TV. I remember, since I was in the fashion space for the longest time, I met, amazing people just because I wanted to freely share what I had in mind about business. I remember I was sitting across a room with the CEO of Burberry, Jimmy Choo, made the Jimmy Choo shoes. So you find yourself you're in these spaces, you network a lot, like what Kemboi was talking about, build your social capital, and these are valuable experiences that which you're going to carry for the rest of your life. These people have built billion-dollar businesses. They know so much than you do. Them giving you feedback, you're learning from them. That's the best thing you can ever do for yourself. Why? Because they've done this for so long. They know so much, and you learning from them makes what you're doing, just grow quicker. So basically putting yourself in that position where you freely share your ideas and you wanting to learn from people who have done that for the longest time. I think that's gonna expedite your business. And then a question I have for any person that's starting out is I usually ask, who are your friends? Whenever I'm getting to know someone, I usually want to know who do you hang around? Why I ask these questions because I'm sure you guys can relate. You have certain friends who you can't really talk about anything creative, let's go party and that's it. And whenever you bring up a business idea, they think that you're bragging. And this are the friends to avoid, so to say. I like being around people who share sort of the same hunger and drive that I have. Why? Because you always find yourself being in a position where you're elevating each other together. And when you have these people, these are the kind of people who you can really share your ideas, give you feedback and all that. So it's important to have, people like this, and actually as genuine friends, not just as acquaintances, as friends, people who you can actually just call anytime and be on a call with. For me, those are priceless. Okay. Oh yeah, and so whenever you're sharing your ideas freely, you have to be willing to be the dumbest in the room. Why? Because a lot of us have this ego where we want to sound smart, we want to be like the best at everything, but then what that denies us is being put in a position where you can learn and actually improve and actually see how much you have in terms of improvement, right? So the moment you are willing to be the dumbest in the room, trust that you're going to find yourself elevating in ways you didn't even think about. All right, cool. So we've just started. We've just seen that good is better than perfect. You're rapidly experimenting with your minimum viable product. You're learning from as many people as possible. You're reading books. You're freely and openly sharing your ideas with people around you. The last thing when you're building, which I tell anyone, is try and block out the noise, right? What do I mean? So if I was actually having a conversation with someone yesterday about social media and how it has very adverse effects on our mental health. We find ourselves sort of like comparing ourselves with other people. And what I relate this to is you're comparing your own chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 20, right? You have all these influencers, you have all these people only showing you the best version of their lives, right? They're only showing you the highlights. The truth is, entrepreneurship is so difficult that it's very ugly. At the moment you see someone's highlights and maybe you're going through a bad day, chances are you're going to feel demotivated. Why? Because maybe you saw someone post a picture on a boat rather than Mombasa living their best life, and you in Nairobi just struggling to pay your office rent, to pay your employees. So if you become the kind of person who gets put down by that, I think it's going to have very adverse effects on your entrepreneurship journey. What I usually try to do is, personally, I chase the better version of myself, right? Rather than try to be someone else. Why? Because you can only be the best version of you and not someone else, right? And yeah, personally, I've developed this mental framework where whenever I'm having negative thoughts that stem from me looking at someone else, I quickly shift to positivity and I look at things around me. I tell myself I'm grateful for this, and that just comes from all this negative thoughts. And if you look back on your life today, you realize that you have a lot to be grateful for, right? Because maybe 5 or 3 years ago, this is where you wanted to be, and like you have very many reasons to be grateful for, rather than just being caught up in that whole comparison thing. So I think that's something that I usually try to do as well. Yeah, so I think those are my 4 tips for anyone that wants to do something amazing. Just start. Good is better than perfect. Rapidly experiment. Really openly share your ideas, and then block out the noise. Chase the better version of yourself rather than trying to be someone else. Michael?
Wow. Alex, again, I said, Yani, you're putting me under pressure. You've been able to do so much, achieve so much at such a young age, and it's people like you we need in this world, in this Africa, in this Kenya. Now, Alex started by saying that we need to be the 2% that will do something, right? And Alex, you know what? That is spot on. Why? Because we've been in this situation so many times, especially even us at Centonomy, where we have so many events. But again, it becomes an event. You come and leave and probably just wait for another event. but there's only a few people will reach out. Only a few people will reach out to our speakers, to the moderator, or to even Centonomy to find out what more they can do or what more they are offering, right? Now, the challenge to everyone on this call today is don't be the 98%, right? Be part of the 2% that will reach out, that will actually do something from this session, right? Great. Now, we also talked about internal growth, talked about reading books, and then you said it about the mindset. And at Centonomy, we start there. We believe that it all starts in the mind, right? Now, again, I want to remind guys that we're here courtesy of Centonomy Campus Edition. And the first module of the program is just programmed or built in such a way that when you get to the program, when you get to the class, you start to shift your mindset so that you see what you can start doing differently, how you can start, thinking differently, so that now you can start creating wealth, right? Great. And then also you started talking about, businesses, the difference between a startup and a small business, right? And then you went straight to your points, your key takeaway points. And the first one you said is just start. At Centonomy, we have a saying, and we say, just get into the bus. That's what we say. If you want to travel, just get to the bus first. Don't, because at times they say you start thinking a lot, you procrastinate in, when you're thinking, also analysis paralysis, So guys, if you have an idea, just start, right? And then also Alex talked about, good is better than better, right? And he talked about the MVP, right? Have at least a minimum viable product, something that guys can accept fast. It may not be the best, but at least, it has something, and then build onto it by getting feedback, feedback from your customers, feedback from, also people who you might be your competitors as well, right? And then you say that we should share our ideas, right? We should not be afraid to share our ideas. And I think most entrepreneurs are afraid to share their ideas because they think, when I share my idea, someone else will come and steal this idea and then they will run away with it. But I want to say this, guys, if you have something that you've thought about and you think that this idea is, is unique to you, let me tell you, even though someone comes from wherever and steals the idea, they cannot be able to execute it exactly how you've thought about it, right? So guys, do not be afraid to share your ideas, right? And then the last one, block the noise, block out the noise. And you talked about it, social media, especially us young guys, we are easily influenced by what's happening on social media, right? So you see someone today, wherever they may be, or whatever they may be doing, they may be posting, but you forget that most people don't actually post, their struggle. So you just see the good side, right? What I do personally is I try and block out social media as much as possible, right? If it's social media, mostly just go, when I'm done with work, maybe at night, right? During the day, because I always say, whatever is happening on social media, you'll get it there tomorrow, as in it's not going anywhere, right? So guys, block out the noise, right? Great. Thank you so much, Alex. Now, Alex, as we get into the next, our next panelist, I'd like you to tell guys how they can reach out, how they can get a hold of you if they have any questions, if they have, if they want to interact with you more, how can they get a hold of you?
So LinkedIn or Instagram. LinkedIn, Alex Mativo. Instagram, Alex Mativo as well.
Fantastic, right? Great. Guys, don't forget, we're here courtesy of Centonomy Campus Edition. And if you're tweeting, if you're on the socials, the hashtags to use are Centonomy Campus Edition, the Empowered Youth, and Wealth Creation, right? Great. Now, next, we are going to go to our next panelist, and allow me to brag here, guys. Our next panelist is none other than Susan Mueni. Sue, founder and CEO of Sud Limited. Right now, allow me to brag because I know Sue, or I have interacted with Sue on a personal basis, right? Now, Sue is Susan Mueni is the founder and CEO of Sud Limited. Is a young, vibrant, and highly creative and astute African female entrepreneur, founder and CEO of Sud. a made-in-Kenya watch brand that blends the art of time with the rich African culture to handcraft the most beautiful bracelet watches. Susan also champions for small businesses through content creation, constant engagements, events, and having candid conversation on her social media platforms. Right? So Mueni, if you are with us, kindly turn on your video. Now, why I'm saying that I have interacted with Sue on a one-on-one basis is because Sue was one of the finalists of
my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, one of the finalists of Safaricom Blaze, and they got a chance to attend Centonomy, and I'm sure she has great things to say about Centonomy. So Sue, karibu sana. Now I see you've turned on your video, but uko hivi.
Nikwaji, I'm really stressed, by the way. How am I?
Like
am
this.
I okay now?
Yes, there we go.
Oh, that's it?
Yes,
but are
it.
you seeing my head?
Yes, I can see your head. I can see you. We are good to go.
Ah, that's good.
Great.
Okay.
Take it away, Sue.
Just a second. Hi, I hope you guys are well. It's afternoon yet? No, it's good morning. Yes, good morning. Breathe in, breathe out. Sawa, let me start. So I'm very grateful. Thank you very much, Michael, and the Centonomy team for giving me this chance. Thanks to Alex and how could I forget? Alex and Kemboi for the session you've given us. So yeah, my name is Susan Mueni, founder and CEO Sood Watches. If you've come across anything that looks like this is what we do at Sood. We also do simple watches, but highly we are known for this. And the most interesting thing, is that I started my business when I was in campus. So when I got this chance with Centonomy, I was just like, bro, I am the right person to tell you how you can take advantage of the opportunities, So I'm very excited actually, because I feel like my campus life was a lot on also just getting onto such, now they were not webinars, they were like events during campus days and, grabbing tips here and there. And it really, really impacted my business and my financial life, Yeah, so thank you very much for everyone who is tuned in, and I hope you are learning so far. I hope your notebook is popping with pointers, because I'm about to actually even just add more to that. So my question to you first before I even start is, I would really, really want to know why you signed up for the webinar, because then that really gives you the root of what you're aiming or what your goal or your purpose is. And that's one of the key things that you need to actually be highlighting as you go through your journey. You need to know, what does success mean to me? What does financial freedom mean to me? What does wealth mean to me or look to me, So in the chat box, you can actually tell us, like, what really intrigued you to join this webinar. And then from there, you can build now like a tree that actually builds your idea or your perception to wealth and financial freedom, Yeah, so as Michael has said, I took part in the Centonomy program, both the personal one and the entrepreneurship one, and I can highly, highly recommend. So my pointers today are majorly going to just be based on how to manage your money, how to grow your money, how to invest your money, and how you can possibly start a business while you're still in campus. So my introduction is inspired by a few words that I'm going to read to you, and then I'm going to let you just digest them. And the words say, life is short, youth is finite, and opportunities are endless. Have you found your intersection of your passion and the potential for world-shaping positive impact? If you don't have a great idea of your own, there are plenty of great teams that need you, unknown startups, and established teams in giant companies. And what that quote spoke to me this morning is, you can only be young for a while. And I think that's one of the things that I really wish I embraced maybe was when I was in campus, although I'm still young even now. It's we're young for a while. And when you're young, you have a lot of energy, you have a lot of ideas, your brain can carry so much as compared to when you begin to age. So that quote really, really spoke to me. And now I'm gonna shout out the guys who made the clothes I am wearing, because let me tell you something. These are people who also started their businesses in campus. I am heavy on small businesses. I create content around the same thing. And I know for a fact that if you start your business or if you invest your money earlier on, the results will definitely carry you to the future. So this headband is by a lady called Queen. She started, I was in Moi University. We were with her in university. She has a business. It's called Raps Nation. And she's doing amazing. She's actually even exporting them. I hope this is motivating you to know that it can be as easy as a headband that actually gives you money and grows your financial freedom journey. This top is by one Nanasi Mueni. I think you guys know her. She was even part of a Centonomy Campus Hangout. And she started her business in campus, and she's doing an amazing job with her brand Shopping Level. Now we can actually go to the pointers of this meeting. So my questions were, how can the people in campus, the campus students, how can they manage their personal finances, save their money, and invest their money? And for me, I'm going to take you back a little and ask you, what is your source of the finances? Just take out your notebook and write exactly where your sources of money are. What your sources of money are. Then when you know your sources of money and how much money you possibly have per month, then you're able to manage your money. The best way to manage anything, even for me, the best way to manage my employees is to actually get in touch with my employees and see this person is like this and that. So you can only manage something that you're very conversant with. So let's begin with, what are your sources of money? Is it pocket money? Is it help? Is it, did you win a grant? What is your source of money and how much is it? Then when you know how much it is, then you're able to manage your money. And that speaks to me, intentionality. For me, the things that you can do, and I always say that even when I'm talking to someone or I'm creating content about money and businesses, it's the basic things that really, really matter. I say the simplest things, but I believe that the tiny, whiny details are really, really what will build a big, big business or like big results. So number one is you have to be very intentional about actually wanting to be financially disciplined. What I mean is you can attend this session, but that does not mean your finances are actually going to be in line. You have to be intentional. You have to look back and see, where is my money coming from? How much money did I have last month? And how much money do I have now? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, so be intentional, purpose to actually move in that direction of financial freedom. Then in campus, this is the other thing that you can do to properly manage your money. The one thing I wish I did when I was in Moi University back in 2015 was actually being able to know my food money is this much, my enjoyment money, because right now we're very high on enjoyment, is this much, my traveling money is this much, and this much I'm gonna set up aside for maybe my savings or just for a business that I could start. That's like literally being intentional with your budgeting every month. I feel like in campus, we receive money and we just go about spending it without knowing that you can actually tell your money where it can go. So you have to be very purpose-driven and disciplined to actually plan for that money that you have every month. And I know most times it's uncertain, but you can actually try and track and see. Last month it was like 1,000 bob. This month it's 800 bob. Next month it could be 1,000 bob. So you will know that your monies are within the 1,000 to like 800 or the 5K or 10K or 20K bracket. Then from there, you're able to actually plan for your money and tell your money where you need it to be. Number two is you actually need to consume content that fuels your financial wisdom. You know what I mean? Instagram is here with us. That means there are accounts that are just the people who have created businesses and accounts that their job is creating content and educating you on on, you know, how to spend your money, how to grow your money. A good example is Susan Wanjiko. If you're on Instagram, kindly go look for Susan Wanjiko. And what I love about her is the content is very relatable. I feel like it's for everyone. She's not telling you things that are multi-million-dollar level. And it's another thing that I keep saying. If you're starting a business and you are trying to consume content for a multi-million-dollar business in your first stage, you're going to struggle because the parameters you're going to be given are not going to match your current stage. I hope I'm making sense. Yeah, you need to actually think big, but be realistic with where you are at. Try and consume content that actually is talking to you about where exactly you're at right now. So for me, those are the pointers. How to manage your money is, number one, be intentional about the whole thing of wanting to be financially free or to grow your money. Number two, it's plan for your money. Plan for your money how? Plan for your money by knowing I have this much money this month. I'm going to allocate this to food. I'm going to allocate this to I'm going to allocate this to food. I'm going to allocate this to enjoyment. I'm going to allocate this to travels. I'm going to allocate this to this and that and that and that. And then the amount of money that is left, you actually put it into something. So you really have to be intentional about it. And that's another thing I find easily, even as us as human beings, it's we listen, but we don't do the job. We just listen and we assume that whatever we're listening to will actually do the job for us. No, you literally have to do the job for yourself. So be intentional about it. You can also take a course. Centonomy have a course. There's a platform called Skillshare. You can actually take courses that will improve your financial freedom, or if it's a business you started, they have different courses on interior design, on how to run your small business, how to bookkeep. So take advantage of the technology that is right now and just gain as much knowledge as you can and put yourself in a space that actually helps your mind to grow financially. Now, you've managed your money. You've put your money for food is this much. And I'm beginning to think that when I was in campus, because I was in Moi main campus, I don't know, there are people who are in Cooperative University, Strathmore, USIU, so maybe those are like closer to the city. But for us, the food was really affordable. There's always a lady who has a kibanda somewhere. The greens out there were cheap. Like we really, I wouldn't say I was spending money on food. What was I spending money on when I was in campus? Because I just wish I saved my HELB money better. Because I used to get HELB money and I'm like, what's the newest techno phone? I'm like, I want to upgrade my phone. I upgrade my phone. The next HELB comes, I'm like, no, this time I need a laptop. You know what I mean? Like it was always things that I have that are just going to, how will I put this? It's like how now iPhone has already released iPhone 13. And iPhone 13 is out. So if you had bought the 12, continuously technology keeps getting better. So just try and see, don't chase, literally that's what I was saying. Don't chase the fast life, just live within your means and prioritize your spending. That sums it all. Now, if you've done that, how do you save? How you can save your money is, number one, you can actually create an account, a bank account, and put your money aside, your savings aside. But with the current financial education, and I think a lot of it is being put on our faces in a way that we can now not ignore. I feel like a while back, I didn't know much about like money market fund, bonds, and realizing that if you put your money in the bank, it's just lying there. Literally, by the way, guys, let me tell you, it's just lying there. It's gaining interest, or maybe it's not because you haven't put it in a savings account, but like it's lying there. And the other thing I learned from a page on Instagram is, if you look at the inflation rate right now is very high, kindly look at the prices of like fuel. Life is just going up and up and up. So if you put 10,000 right now in an account and you withdraw it next year, you will have made a loss because the inflation of life then will be higher than now. So that 10K today maybe would have bought you a piece of land, but next year it will not be able to buy you a piece of land because it may depreciate. I hope I'm making sense. In case I am not, please feel free to ask me questions. I'll tackle them at the end of the session. So if I'm talking too fast, you can also let me know in the comments because I talk a lot. I really, really do talk. So you can look into money market funds. One thing about money market funds I've come to learn is it's very low risk. And money market fund, and I know Centonomy teach those things. I'm not a financial coach, but I can just touch on a little of that. It's a very low risk investment, and that's why I'm putting it at savings, because truly the interest is a little, and it takes maybe like a long time for it to compound to a big chunk of money, but it's better than a bank. So a money market fund. A good example is like, I think I saw ICA Lion actually advertise one and trying to target campus students, because you can actually open the initial account at 500 bob, and then slowly you can top up from as low as I think 50 bob. So look into money market funds, bonds. There's an aunt of mine actually who was in campus, I think 10 years ago, but she was telling me how during her time, she actually bought shares, equity shares. And I'm like, you really, really must have been forecast. And that's what we are here telling you, that take advantage of those years when you don't have as many responsibilities during campus as possible, and try and save as much as you can. And that will give you a foundation of your life after campus. A good example is like right now, I have so many bills to pay, like the savings are barely there, or I have to really work hard for my savings to be what I want them to be, because I really work on percentages. Like I'll be like, if Sud has made this much money, our expenses are this and that, then I get the net profits. When I get the net profits, I pay myself and I pay my employees. Once I've paid my employees, I'm like, okay, now we're going to reinvest this percentage and we're going to save this percentage. So those percentages are affected by the entire revenue. So I really, really have to be working hard, and the team has to be really working hard for us to like break even and still save. But when I was in campus, I feel like most of the things I did were things I chose to do. I really didn't have to do them. Like going for a road trip for a whole weekend and spending all the money. As a matter of fact, even fulizing, during that time, it was Mshwari loans and borrowing money. And then by the time my parent is sending me pocket money, I'm already negative. So I need to pay debts first, and then I have money. So find the balance. Siko hapa kuwakazia maisha. I'm not here to tell you be boring. I'm here to tell you find a balance, and your life 2 years from now will actually thank you later. So if you can save, please, please, please go ahead and save. But even as you save, I want to tell you that you can only save or manage your money when you know how much money you have. If you don't know how much money you have within a month, it's like unapuliza gunia. Yeah, that's a best example I can come. It's like you're blowing air into like a mesh balloon where you blow in, the air goes out. So track your money and see how much money you have, and then from there you're able to know how much you can save and how much you can invest. Now let's get into investing. When it gets into investing, I've told you that those low risk kind of investments, that's money market fund, etc. You can look at Susan Wanjiko's profile. I will keep talking about her because that girl, like relatable content. So just check her out. She really, really breaks down those. And also Centonomy have that course. You can take it. Information is out there. Grab it while you still can right now. So while you're still saving and you want to invest, I will give you this quote that says, and it's actually by Susan again. It says, saving only can't make you rich. You have to invest your money to make wealth. That quote, I saw it on my timeline and it hit home. I was like, bro, this is the truth, because saving only will not make you rich. If you want to be Bill Gates, if you want to be Steve Jobs, if you want to be, name them, Facebook, the Mark Zuckerberg, and all those people, saving only will not get you rich. investing your money has to be part of it. So how do you invest your money while you're still in campus? So a good example is you can start a business. And I'm talking about businesses because I'm in that space of running a business. Also, I told you guys in 2015 in Mueni University during a Bible study, actually. Let me tell you a little bit of my story, then you can actually see that, as I told you, it's the simple things and simple details that will actually push you towards your purpose. I was in a Bible study in 2015 in Mueni University, and I had a watch on. And one of our Bible study members was like, whoa, I love this watch. I was like, thank you. And he was like, I want to buy this watch. I'm like, I'm not selling watches. Then I didn't have a business. I was just like any other campus student, going to Moi to learn and have fun and miss classes and all those bad things we did in campus. So I'm like, no, I'm not selling the watch. He's like, no, but you know where you got the watch. So how about you sell the watch to me and then you go buy another watch? I was like, okay, cool. If you have the money here now, I will sell you the watch. And I was selling the watch at 500 bob, and I had gotten that watch on Accra Road for 200 bob. So I was making a profit of 300 shillings, okay? So I was like, if you have the money here now, then I'm going to give you the watch and you give me the money, then I can buy the watch. So the person didn't have the money, but another person in the Bible study had money. You know what I mean? Yes. I see someone asking, was it Grace Chapel? Yes, it was Grace Chapel. Shout out to the Moi University people in the house. So the person didn't have money, but the other person in our Bible study had money. So he was like, me, since we're on a pesa, let me buy the watch for myself. So what you notice is person A inquired about the watch, person B bought the watch for themselves. So person A doesn't have a watch and I don't have a watch. What that creates is demand. And demand is a very important thing in business. If you find demand, please fill in the gap and run with the demand. So I was like, Sawa, I will go and buy myself a watch and buy the other person a watch. Then I'll buy another extra watch in case someone else sees my watch and wants it. I won't have to walk around without a watch. And that's how my business started. And back then it was called SUE watches, SUE watches, you know? And slowly a person tells another person and it just grew. It just started growing. I opened an Instagram page and I was now even sourcing the watches in Nairobi because my university, Eldoret main campus is in Eldoret. And I was even sourcing the watches in Nairobi and selling them to people who are still in Nairobi. What that tells you is there's always a gap and a niche for you. There's someone who actually knows where Du Bois is, but they don't have the time. If you don't know where Du Bois is, guys, you need to know where Du Bois is. There's someone who knows where Du Bois is, but they don't have the time or even the energy to go there. So they will try their best to even pay an extra amount for someone to go source that product for them and give it to them. So I took the opportunity. I started selling watches online. And then I got a chance to pitch my business. And I was like, how about I start my own, brand of watches that actually tells the things I'm passionate about, African fashion, African culture. And I can wear this watch and wear a bracelet and a watch at the same time. And that's now was my unique selling point. Guys, I hope you're taking notes because I tell more of a story, but ndani kuna points. So I hope you're taking the points. If you have, please write for us in the chat what you've taken away so far, because I will keep going and going, but at the end of it, I will still give you pointers, but take notes as you go. So that was my unique selling point. And now Sud is, I think now Sud is 4 years old and we are doing great, it's growing, but most of it is because you see an opportunity, you take it. And opportunity comes dressed in an overall. That's another quote that I love, that opportunity will not come like roses or cream on a cake. Opportunity will come as a diamond that needs to be sharpened for you to actually get the actual diamond out, or gold that actually needs to be put through fire for you to actually get the actual pure gold. You know what I mean? So take opportunity and always be on the lookout for opportunities. So you can actually start a business. And back in the day, in 2015, if there are any new businesses, please mniambie. But back in the day, the businesses we started off with were like, there are people who were doing photocopy. They had like photocopy cafes in the campus. Someone had a fruit salad and juice parlor. People had like smoky pasua, fries, and all that. But times have changed. Times have changed so much that people like Samantha Nyakoe, Wabosha, if you don't know who I'm talking about, you guys need to really just look around and see the people you can relate to locally, because I know we're fed a lot of like international content. But I'm saying you need to look around and see what's relatable, then push it now to like a dream that is outside and far in terms of years. Samantha Nyakoe, Wabosha, those are content creators that are actually making money from technology. A good example is like Alex. Alex was the panelist before me. For him, it's a tech startup that he has started, and it's actually picking up really well, and it's changing lives, and it's impacting small businesses. So take advantage of the changing times right now and look for opportunities that actually could work within your space. The other thing is the world is changing so much that it's accommodating right about any business idea. If my mom was to talk about the businesses they should have started when they were younger, there wasn't much room for them to explore their mind and actually like build a business that is very different from those times. Sijui kama mnanielewa chenye nasema. Possibly angekwambia start a salon, start a kinyozi, open a supermarket. But right now, there are people who are even doing jobs like being a virtual assistant. Do you guys know that there's actually now a business around being a virtual assistant where you don't have to be with me to be my assistant or my PA? It's you virtually just have clients that you help maybe with their digital spaces, etc., and you're making money while you're still learning. I remember in campus, there was still online writing. And I remember a guy who was making lots of money from that. Mbaka, he became the head of an account. And then now he used to employ people under him to actually do the assignments. So explore those options, guys. And now that you have a lot of energy and a lot of time, I believe you actually have a lot of free time, instead of just trying to baby girl and go and shake your booty in Dubai. I know I'm attacking some people. It's literally try and see, as I do some of that, how else can I actually impact my financial freedom journey 10 years from now? Otherwise, you'll be caught up in a cycle of chasing the fast life. And chasing the fast life will have you be at 30 and realize, oh my God, the people I was with in campus are actually way ahead of me in terms of financial freedom. You know what I mean? So try and find a balance right now. And I know it's hard because there's peer pressure and all that, but like you can find a balance. That's all I'm saying. Don't be boring, but find a balance. Yeah. Now you're running a business. I'm already here, guys. You're running a business. You've started a business. If you're in campus and you've started a business, you can also just let us know what business you are running, and we will be more than glad to check it out. So get chatting with us in the comments and just tell us, what are you doing? What business are you into? I know of a lady who sells sweater online, and her brand is called Jackie's Thrifts. And truly, she makes some extra money while she's still at school. So I know of JK Burgers. I really love to support small businesses. So I hope this is okay with Michael and the Centonomy team. But like, I love practicality. Like, I love it when I can tell you of something that is practical. Like, I can come and tell you this is yellow and it's actually yellow. You know what I mean? But like, I know of people, small businesses that are being built by people who are in second year, third year, first year. So try and see what can you do that still allows you to study and still make money. So you're running a business. Let's even use the business of selling sweaters or selling second-hand clothes, where you go source the clothes from Gikomba and then you start selling them. So if you've started such a business, you need to know how much will be my initial capital? Let's say you need like 1,000 bob, because sweaters can be maybe 50 bob in Gikosh. So you need 50 bob for each sweater. So maybe you'll say your capital can be 400. Shout out to Anjiko. She says she sells some phone covers on the gram. Go check her out. But yeah, your initial capital is like 500 Kenya shillings, okay? So you will take that money and know that's my initial capital. But when you put that money in the business, it is business money. And if those sweaters are sold and they make you 20,000 Kenya shillings, that's your business money. That's not your money. And you've worked hard for it, but that's your business money. That's not your money. As a matter of fact, you will need to know what expenses are here. Uzitoanishe kwa hiyo 20,000. Okay. Do I need to pay for transport? Hizo ndo kama expenses zako. How much money do I need for my next stock? You deduct that money. How much money is left? Let's assume we are left with like 12K. Out of the 12K, I'm going to give myself and tap myself on the shoulder and tell myself, you did a good job, girl. I'm going to pay you 4,000 Kenya shillings. These are examples, guys. They're just examples. The dynamics of how your money is depends on your business and what you sell and what your margins are. But you can pay yourself a certain percentage, and then the rest can be saved in a separate business savings account. Why do I say that? Because a good example is like, right now we have COVID with us. And I'm telling you, me having saved over the past 2 years has really pivoted my business. Like if I hadn't saved, we would be out here crying and maybe closing shop. But because I was disciplined, we've been told to brag about what we have achieved. Because as the CEO of Sud Watches, I was disciplined. We are pivoted a little before this COVID economy, leaves us alone. You get what I mean? That's the importance of saving for the business. Save for the business, because sometimes it's not even now like there'll be a pandemic. Sometimes it could be we are looking to buy a sewing machine. Maybe you start a clothing business. And when you've started the clothing business, you're contracting a fundi to do the job for you, but you can actually stitch. Or you find that they charge you more as opposed to if you had your sewing machine. What you can do is you can save towards buying your own machinery, and that reduces your cost of goods. And that's a good thing to do. You know what I mean? So save your money, pay yourself. You can track your sales and bookkeeping via some tools. A good example is Excel sheets. That's very, very much available to all of us if you have a laptop. And I know in campus we do assignments. So we have a laptop. So Excel sheets, there are apps that do that. There's an app called Money Lover. There's another one called Money Manager. You can use those apps to just track your expenses and see how much money you actually have for you to manage your money better. Okay. Now, the other thing is on how to separate your business money is you can actually get a till number. Nowadays, till numbers are not as kitambo when you had to prove your registration form for a limited company and stuff. You'll still need documents, but I feel like they are now more friendlier to the small businesses and startups. So get a till number and let people pay directly to the till number. Hii biashara ya watu kukulipa kwa M-Pesa yako, unanunua credit, unapitia pale nje, unaona viatu zinakapoa, can I pay you on M-Pesa? Unatuma pesa. You're eating into your business's money. And what you're doing is you're crippling your business and you're about to run your business bankrupt. Well, sometimes I know you don't like people who tell you the truth, but I am here to tell you the truth. That's what you're doing to your business. When you get money and all you can think about is enjoyment and you go and blow up 20,000 in the club, you're living beyond your means and you're really, really crippling your financial freedom journey. And that's what I'm here to tell you. So look into how much money do you have for you to be able to manage your money. Number 2, once you know how much money you have, you can use an app. I'll use the example of Money Lover because it's what I've been using for my personal life. Input there, food this much, transport this much, this and that this much. I'm allowed to shop for clothes of this much this month. Once you know, track every day. If I spend 10 bob on Mandizi, I will put it on that app. By the end of the week, I know I have spent this much. By the end of the month, I know I have spent this much. So you're able to say, what can I reduce on to meet my financial goals? You know, track your expenses. When you're left with some amount of money, save some, invest some while you're still young. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I don't know if that's all that I had. Yeah, the other question, sorry, I had to refer to my laptop. The other question that was there for me was, you know, seeing as I've run Sood successfully for the past 4 years, what can I say has been the 8 for me? The 8 for me is the basics, guys. I will not come here and tell you extraordinary things. I will come here and tell you, start from where you are with what you have. Just start. Okay? Number 2, once you've started, explore and see, how can I grow this business in 2 years? And see, maybe I need to apply for grants. Actually, 2 weeks ago, I applied for a grant by Access Bank. It was for women entrepreneurs within East Africa. And I went until the 3rd stage and I didn't get the money, but I tried. You know what I mean? Look for money that people are willing to invest. In campus, I think my previous what is it called? My previous panelists have just told you, get into clubs. There are clubs in school that can expose you to opportunities that actually can pivot your journey, where you don't have to go the long route. Someone can just come and pick you up and lift you up. You know what I mean? Yeah. So look for opportunities that actually can grow your business. Once you've started, look again and see, I've started. So now this business, how can I keep growing my money? How much do I need to reinvest? Where do I need to improve on? How can I reduce my costs? And a lot of all that. So please, 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 let's be intentional. Let's be purposeful about what we're getting into. Number 2 is let's stay consistent. Let's stay consistent, because consistency and discipline, that is what will just keep you going. I love the quote that says, you will not always be motivated. And that's fact. It might sound cliche or like it's everything that is so told every day, but you will not always be motivated. But if you're disciplined, if you wake up and you're like, I really don't feel like going to the workshop today, but I have to because I have people to pay. I have to because I have a goal to meet by the end of this year. So please remain disciplined and consistent. Number 3 is something that I think was said by Kemboi. Have a social network of people that actually understand your vision. That can be your friends, your family, a mentor, someone who actually understands your vision and sees where you're going. And in the moment you doubt yourself, reach out to that person and be like, I'm really doubting myself from this angle. What do you think? I'm really struggling with creating digital content. Do you have any ideas? I'm really struggling with my money discipline. Do you have any tips? I don't know where I can get this and that. You'll be shocked at how many people actually that are around you that know things that you are out there just trying to do by yourself that can actually help you, you know? And finally, do the work. Do the job. It really is hard. Entrepreneurship is hard. It's lonely, but you really need to do the job. You need to go source for those products. At some point in your entrepreneurship journey, you'll be the social media manager, the one who is doing the errands. You will be doing so much, but it'll all pay off. So do the hard work. And one thing I will tell you is, if you consistently do a thing. If I consistently keep just hitting these beads, nizigonge kila siku nikiamka nazigonga, the bead will break, and that will be my breakthrough. So keep doing what you're doing, and your moment will come. Success is when opportunity meets preparedness. So stay prepared and work hard. So I think that's it for me. That's it from me, Michael. I don't know if there are any questions. I will be more than glad to answer them. You can check out my Instagram page. I take DMs. People ask me questions about their businesses. I am willing to help. And yeah, you can find me there.
Wow. Okay, even me, I have learned. Let me just say that, right? But just to summarize what you said, we need to first of all start with the why, right? Like
Yeah.
I remember you asked, why did people register for this webinar, right? Start with the
Yeah.
why, right? So what does success look like to you, right? And then you talked about how we need to manage, grow, and then invest our money, right? And that's what we do here at Centonomy, right? So so you actually did half of my job today. Half of my job today was to tell guys how they can save, how they can invest, how they can grow their money, how they can plan their budget. But I'm going to do that shortly, right? And then you talked about budgeting, knowing, and telling where your money to go, right? Because you should be able to tell you this kind of money go here, this money go there. And I like what you said, right? Especially guys in campus, like they should dictate this one go to rent, this one go to enjoyment, right? Yeah, and then also you talked about the content that you consume, especially online, and I like that you plugged in, the people that you follow and the content that you watch. And yes, you are a great advocate of, small businesses, African businesses, Kenyan businesses, because you said they give us, exactly what we need, content that is relatable to us, right?
Yeah.
And then you said about learning, and one way of learning is by taking a course, and that's why we're here. Courtesy of Centonomy Campus Edition program, which is a course that you guys can take, and I advise and implore all of you who are here to register, and today you can register for just 500 bob, and I'm going to show you how that would look like. And then also you said find a balance, identify a gap and fill it, and that's all about entrepreneurship, right? We say it's all about you finding that gap and then filling it, right? And then you talked about how you need to save, and you showed us how saving came through for you, in your business and in this time of COVID. And yeah, that's one thing that you are bragging about. And we need to brag about our achievements, right? So your achievements, so you saved, and that those savings, they kept your business afloat. You were able to, pay your overheads, your employees, your rent, and your business was able to stay afloat because of your savings. And so I implore you for that, right? That's
Thank
good.
you.
Then you also said we need to manage our money, track where our money is going. If you're in business, you know your sales, your expenses. And then you talked about some of the apps that we can use, like Money Lover, Money Manager. We have others like Rich, Expense Tracker, right? And we talk about this and more in the Centonomy Campus Edition program. And then something that you talked about, which is what pushes us actually, right? Is the discipline.
Yeah. Yes.
The discipline. And I always ask people, what's the first thing that you do when you wake up? For me, it's pray and then make my bed. Discipline. And I do that each and every day. And even if you look at the guys in the armed forces or police, wako na hiyo discipline, kuna kitu lazima wafanye. Unajua, at this time, this is something that they need to do, right? And guys, that discipline is what pushes you, is what makes sure that you actually do what you're supposed to do, right? It is that internal force that pushes you, because at this time I'm supposed to do this, right? And then you say that we need to do the work. No one else is going to do the work for us. We need to do the work. So after today's session, you guys, you need to do the work, right? You need to start following those people who is talking about. You need to start doing all these things that all our panelists have talked about, right? Because at the end of the day, it's all about you guys, right? You need to be accountable to yourself, right? And then you said about consistency, right?
Yes.
Keep pushing. And at the end of the day, the door will open, right? Great. Now, I see a lot of people came through with comments in the chat box. Let me just start. You said, you remember you asked, why are people here? And Aston was the first to say he's here because of the quest for independence and desire to help the marginalized. And then, yes, Elsie saying that whatever you're saying made a lot of sense. Aston says, identify a gap and fill it. Patience also says, demand is key in a business. And once you get it, get the gap and fill it. And then you talked about convenience, how us as business people, as entrepreneurs, we need to see, you know, what are these things that people don't want to do that we can do for them and then they can pay us? Like for you, it is going to Dubois, or others say Dubois. When you go, unachukua hiyo hustle ya kwenda huko, and then people will pay you for that, right? Great. And then you asked, Lynn saying, I am young, I have time, youth and time are finite. Yes, so now is the time. Yes, and then Elsie is asking, what do you mean by financial freedom? And I see Patience. Hey, Patience, I'm a plug in my biashara. Phone covers, affordable thrifts. Patience, I'm looking for a phone cover. I'll reach out to you very soon. Yes, and then John is asking, hey, what do I do? What am I doing with my life? John, don't worry. That's why you are here, right? That's why you are here, guys. Yes, and then I see Patience saying, thank you, Susan, for the information. Yes, she loved Sue watches, just 2K less to get the Nobel cutoff timepiece. Hey, okay, great. Right, Faith says, thank you for the panelists. And then, hey, Killian today, Yani, has just been summarizing everything that all our panelists have said, right? So thank you so much, Sue. Sue, as I continue with the session, kindly plug yourself. Where can we find you? Nakupata wapi kwa socials, kwa email, kwa phone number, is, you know, where can we get a hold of you?
So again, thank you very much for having me. I have had a great time. Even as I was speaking some things, I was like, I feel like I'm speaking to myself all over again. So you can find me on, first you can find Sud Watches, priority to the business. You can find Sud Watches at Sud Watches on Instagram. That's SUED Watches on Instagram. For me as Susan, you can find me at Sue_Sud, SUE_Sud on Instagram. I really advocate for conversations around small businesses and actually having realistic, guys, I cannot emphasize enough on, it needs to be relatable. Like if you're consuming content, it needs to be relatable. You can't be consuming content from Mars and you're in Pluto. You get what I mean? So yeah, Sud and Sud Watches are my plugs. So yeah, I wish you all the best, guys, in campus, and use the time you have now to better yourself in the future.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Sue, and all our panelists. Right now, guys, remember today's session was brought to you courtesy of Centonomy Campus Edition. Now, allow me to plug Centonomy. Right now, what is Centonomy Campus Edition? Right now, you guys, have you ever thought of this? Think about it as a laser-guided missile, right, to your wealth creation journey. Right? Unajua laser-guided missile, yani ile yezi miss. You know, that's what Centonomy Campus Edition is. So this program is made up of 6 modules that will take you through your wealth creation journey, especially for you as a young person. And we start with talking about the principles of personal finance management. That is things like budgeting, how you need to track your expenses. We also talk about your net worth, how you can, you know, calculate your net worth. And then we talk about time value of money and debt. And I'm going to do a short exercise of this thing called time value of money, so that we see exactly how that affects us. And then savings and investments, which is one of my favorite classes. So we talk about all the investments that are available for us young people, and then entrepreneurship, career planning, and mentorship. As you can see, laser-guided missile to your wealth creation journey, especially you as a young person, right? Now, our classes are now held online, and that means that no matter where you are from, you are able to join the classes. And we start on the 9th of October, 2021. And these classes are held each and every Saturday morning from 9th October. For inquiries, call Esther. The number is 0724 0779535933, right? The number is right there on the screen, or you can email esther@centonomy.com, right? Now, again, starting you off on a journey of financial freedom when you're still young. Attendance is only once. Saturdays 9 to 12, right? And we begin 9th October 2021. All right. Great. Now, payments, guys. We are now offering a discount, 10% lockdown discount. And you can see the fee was 17,000, but now it is 15,300. And guys, because you came for this webinar, you get 50% off on registration. So today, for today only, you register with 500 bob, right? 500 bob, and then the tuition fee of 14,300 can be paid in 3 weekly installments. And as you can see there on the screen, 5,000, 5,000, 4,300, right? And M-Pesa pay bill 986850. Account number is your first name and then CE, right? CE for Campus Edition. Now that we are here and we talk about money, right? It wouldn't be great if we walked out without learning 1 or 2 things about money, right? And at Centonomy, we say that wealth creation is just like weight loss, right? It is simple, but it is not easy. Why is it simple? It is simple because there are things that you can do, that you can start doing now, right? So that you are there, so that you get to that place we call wealth. And at Centonomy, we say that wealth is the ability to live and maintain the lifestyle that you desire without having to work for it, right? So wealth creation is a journey. It's simple, but it is not easy, just like weight loss. So when you want to lose weight, what you do is simple. Go to the gym, eat right, watch your diet, simple, but it is not easy. The act of going to the gym and exercising is not easy, right? Same as wealth creation, right? Now, tip number 1, guys, when you're creating wealth, the first thing that you should always do is pay yourself first, right? And paying yourself first means save and invest, right? So the first thing you do when you get money from whichever source, so long as it is legal, the first thing you need to do is to pay yourself first. Before spending, we save, right? Before spending, we save. And guys, I want you to take this one thing from today's webinar, that money has a few rules. And one of the rules of money is money says, save me today, I will save you tomorrow, right? So money says, save me today, I will save you tomorrow, right? So guys, remember, the first thing that you do when you get some money, when you get pocket money, allowance from your folks, the first thing you need to do is to save some. If possible, invest and then spend the rest. Why? Because if you spend and then you want to come and save, you'll find that later there's nothing to save. Why? Because things to spend money on in this world will never end, right? Great. And then when you talk about investments, and we talk about this and much more in the class, right? Investments are supposed to be driven by goals, right? And the 3 goals when you are looking at investments is number 1, capital preservation, number 2, income, number 3, capital growth, right? So we say, and good investment is one that does these 3 things to you, right? One that preserves your capital, gives you income, and grows your capital. And to find out much more about this, I want to welcome you to the Centonomy Campus Edition program, where we talk about all this, and then we give examples of this capital preservation, income, and capital growth. All right? Now, again, when you're putting your money and you're investing it, there's always something called risk. And we talk much more about this in the Centonomy Campus Edition program, right? So we say, people say high risk, high return. I want to cancel that statement and say high risk, high potential of return, all right? To find out more, register for the Centonomy Campus Edition program, and we'll talk about all this and what kind of investments will give you low risk, low return, and what kind of investments will give you a high risk, high potential of return, all right? Great. Now, another thing that you need to do, tip number 2, track your spending, right? Note down each and every single cent that leaves your pocket. Know where it goes, right? And this will surprise you because you will realize that there are places that you spend money that you should not be spending, right? So, guys, from today, start by paying yourself, and then number 2, tracking your spending, right? So each and every note, shilling, coin that leaves your wallet, your pocket, your M-Pesa, your bank account, know where it's going, right? Great. Now, remember we said time value of money, and we learn about this in class, right? Now, time value of money just goes to show how a little amount of money today over time is not so little. All right? Now, think about it. That meal that you see right there on the screen might be 300 bob, right? 300 bob. And I know some of us can enjoy this meal, quite often. Now, if you can enjoy this meal each and every day, that means that you can be able to save 300 shillings each and every day. And 300 shillings each and every day for 1 month, that is 9,000. And for a year, that comes to around 108, 109,000. Now, ask yourself, what can you do with 109,000 at the end of the year? All right, great. Now, let us do some quick maths, right? Some quick math. Now, you're talking about 300 shillings, right? Now, a 25-year-old invests 300 shillings per day. Now, this is equivalent to 9,125 shillings per month, which is equivalent to 109,500 per year. All right? Now, in 5 years' time, when this person is 30, they will have received 669,045 shillings. All right? Again, look at the relationship between time and the value of this money. 10 years, when this guy is 35, he will have 1.7 million. All right? In 15 years' time, when this guy is 40, we'll have 3.4 million. And in 20 years' time, when this guy is 45, we'll have 6.2 million. All right? Just by saving 300 shillings a day. All right? Again, you see the relationship between time and money and how the value of money can grow over time. Now, 300 shillings a day. I want you to now pay attention to these amounts in red. All right? Pay attention to these amounts in red. 300 shillings a day. Now, if you're 25, and I know some of us are younger than that, then you guys, you have an advantage. Why? Because you have time working in your favor. For those of us who are 30, now, to get to the same amount by 45, we will need to increase this 300 shillings to 540 shillings a day. All right? Just imagine, if you're 25, for you to get 6.2 million when you're 45, that is 20 years, you need to only save 300 shillings a day. But if you're 30, to get the same amount by 45, which is 15 years, you need to save 540 shillings. Now, guys, remember, pay attention to this amount in red. The older you get, the more you will have to save. Now, imagine if you're 35 and you need to get the same amount by age 45, which is now reduced to 10 years, you will need to save 1,077 shillings per day. Now, if you are 40 years, right, and you need to get the same amount by age 45, which will now be in 5 years' time, then you will need to save 2,811 per day. Now, we started with 300, it has gone and multiplied to 2,000, right? Now, what I'm trying to show you guys here is the relationship between time and the value of money, right? And we talk about this and much more in the Centonomy Campus Edition program, right? Now, think about it, guys. The sooner you start now, the sooner you start, the better you are, right? For sure, right? Now, think about it. If you're 25 and you need to get 6.2 million in 20 years when you're 45, you'll need to save and invest only 300 shillings a day. And I've showed you where that 300 shillings or what that is, simple lunch. If you're 40 years old and you only have 5 years to get to that amount of 6.2 million, you will have to save 2,811 per day, right? So guys, moral of the story here is the sooner you begin, the easier it will be for you and the less you will have to save, right? Great. Now, tip number 3, guys. We've talked about tip number 1, which is pay yourself first by saving and investing. Tip number 2, which is note down where your money goes, track your expenses. Tip number 3, plan for your money. And how you can plan for your money is come up with a budget. And a budget is simply a plan on how you are going to spend your money. All right? Now, We talk about this and much more in the Centonomy Campus Edition program. And when you come to your budget, you will learn about the A, B, C, and how you can categorize your expenses so that you can be able to know, now, in this my budget that I've come up with, what costs or what expenses can I do away with, right? And how you can do that is by categorizing them into A, B, and C, all right? And as you can see there in the graphic, how you can make your money stretch is with the Centonomy ABC budget, right? Now, A, we have essentials, and these are things that you cannot live without. Think about it: food, water, rent. And then you have B, which are important things like transport, salon, loans, and also, going to the gym, keeping fit. And then we have C, which is others like your subscriptions, like your entertainment, like your takeout food that you order, right? Now, for your money to stretch, that means that you mostly need to focus on the A expenses, right? Now, when you focus on the A expenses, that is how your money will stretch longer, right? Where your money will last you longer. But if you do A, B, and C together, as you can see there, then your money will not stretch as much as it should, right? Now, especially during these times, right, where some of us have been unfortunate and gotten maybe job losses, job cuts. It is important that we make our money stretch. Now we can make our money stretch is simply by looking at the essentials, right? And again, I cannot say this much more further, as in we need to register for the Centonomy Campus Edition program. We'll talk about this and much more, all right? Now, guys, you remember Alex said that we will all log in here, but only 2% will do something about it, right? Now, those of us who are still here, I'll need you to be part of the 2% and start now, right? How do you start? Start by registering for the program, and today you register for only 500 shillings. So for guys who are here locally, register M-Pesa pay bill 986850. Account number is first name plus campus or CE, and you can see the bank details. For those of us who are tuning in from outside the country, I know there are people in Uganda, Kampala. There are your where how you can register is you can just deposit your money in the bank account there. All right, great. Now, as we finish, I'd also like to plug in our book by our founder, Making Sense by Washeke, retailing at only 1,000 shillings and then 200 for delivery. This book is also available in the stores, right, written there. African Book Hub, Bookstop, Prestige, Kibanga, Patmat Bookshop in Nakuru, and then online, we're on Amazon, Rafu Books, and Nuria Online Bookshop, right? Great, guys. And with that, we have come to the end of the webinar. Thank you for registering for the webinar, and also thank you for your interaction. Thank you for your questions. Most importantly, thank you for making time to attend. And my hope is that you've learned something. My hope is that you've learned something, and my other hope is that you will do something from today. All right. So, guys, remember what you need to do is we need to start now. All right. Don't wait for tomorrow. Start now. Thank you. Goodbye, and have a fantastic weekend. If you have any questions, you feel free to reach us at Centonomy. And how you can reach us, go to our website, www.centonomy.com, and then you can get us there. If you need to reach me directly, my email address is michael@centonomy.com. My phone number is 0718-600-637, and I will be able to answer any questions that you have. All right. So, guys, remember, start now by registering for the session, and how you can register is through the details on the screen. And I can see Steve has written how we can register, and also how we can get through to Centonomy. So thank you, guys. Thank you for coming. Enjoy your weekend. God bless and have a fantastic time. My number again is 0718 Let me just type it in the chat, 0718600637. It's my number. My email is Michael. Great. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Ivy. Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Patience. Patience, I'm reaching out to you for phone cover real soon. Great. Thank you also, Stephanie. Fantastic, fantastic. Great. Goodbye and God bless.